Because if I know black people like I know black people, they could curb stomp him in the kitchen when he get there. You can leave the baby on the ground? Okay. He's not doing it to this white man because he's a vampire, because this is y'all's nature, because blah, 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 whatever stupid shit you want to come up with. Listen with your air, white man. Imagine being a vampire, a teenage vampire with super vampire hearing, and your parents wouldn't in the coffin next to you. Girl, I say, Lord, I traumatized for her. Lord, I have to deep sigh because I really want to know what y'all have me watching. At least 3 times watching this episode, I pause the TV and I say, what these people have me watching? And I did not want to watch this show, you know, because I watched the movie Interview with a Vampire and I didn't like that shit. Like, I didn't like that shit. And all the people who love camp things, but to be like, oh my God, you could be all right. I didn't like it. So I was like, I ain't particularly into this. And now that I've watched the first episode, I will say I'm locked in, but I don't know if it's going to be for the reasons y'all are locked in. I don't know how come y'all like the show or what y'all like about the show or who y'all like about the show. And I don't know if we could be on the same page, but I have lots of thoughts. So let's run it back. The episode opens with a reel about the career of a journalist named Daniel Malloy. About 49 years ago, Daniel Malloy had actually interviewed the vampire that is the star of this TV show. What he named? Louis Delac. That's what he named? Yes, Louis Delac. And so he gets another letter. He gets a letter in the mail from Louis Delac. Louis Delac had reached out to him saying he wanted his life story to be told. I want you to interview me and tell the story. That didn't go so well, right? Apparently, back then, Daniel Malloy was, I guess, on drugs and going through a bunch of shit in his life. And so their interview process didn't go right. And apparently how it ended was old boy attacking him, like the vampire attacking him, like a vampire attack. And so now, 49 years later, Louis Delac is reaching out again saying, I want you to tell my story. I want to pick up where we left off. And the minute Daniel Malloy gets in his face, it's immediately hostile, it's tense. Daniel Malloy don't with him because you attacked me 49 years ago, and he's an old man and he's miserable. And Louis Delac is a cocky rich vampire who also deep in his business, because he says, oh, I see you have Parkinson's, you become an old man and you have Parkinson's, which isn't public information. The only people who know that about Daniel Malloy is his family and his doctor. So Daniel Malloy has a whole attitude, a full-blown attitude, because he had attacked him, right? Plays a tape from 49 years ago where on the tape you could hear where Louis Delac gets mad at him for some question he must have asked and then attacks him. And so then he says, in present day, he turns off the audio and goes, you were disrespectful. You weren't worthy of hearing my story then. And Daniel Malloy is like, maybe the story wasn't worthy of being told, right? And then they have a quick little back and forth. And Daniel Malloy says, look, I was high. That's why. Yes, I agree. It wasn't great because Louis Delac is talking shit. The vampire is talking shit. He's like, oh, you were sloppy. You was an amateur. You asked all the wrong questions. You did all the wrong stuff. And it really makes you wonder, then why the you talking to him? If 50 years ago he didn't do it right and you attacked the man, why are you bothering him? All these journalists in the world, all this time you've been a vampire, surely you have more access, but whatever. So Daniel Malloy is like, listen, whatever, you're gonna tell us story, I'm ready to do it now, and I'm an old man, I'm very irritable, so let's just hurry up. And I feel him. I want y'all to know Daniel Malloy is my favorite character, okay? Because that's the short of patience I feel with Louis and all the foolishness that we about to see. Oh my Lord. Just as a quick nod to Louis' little arrogance, right? He was like, I'm surprised you remember me. You didn't mention me in your memoir. And Daniel is like, you know, something about mentioning vampires might have had thinking I was crazy. Like, be serious. You think I was gonna talk about vampires in my memoir? Act like you have sense. They begin the interview and Louis begins his story by taking us all the way back to forever ago in New Orleans. His family, he lets us know off the rip that his family have money. They had originally had like sugarcane plantation money, and once their daddy died, he became the executive of his daddy's estate, and now he's a pimp. Now they have a bunch of brothels. So they still got money, but for more unsavory things. One of the first things we see, he basically has all these brothels on Liberty Street. We see him that there's an incident at one of his brothels. This one of his gals named Bricks had beat up the white man. She beat him up with a bat because he tried to ass without her permission. Fair. And it's funny, so Louis comes to come and try and like help the man. He's like, Bricks, why you do this? Because this is alderman, so this is like some prestigious white man, right? And she don't care. She still popping shit. She have the brick. She's like, anybody put their dick in my ass and he ain't ask me, I could beat your ass. She's like, maybe I might have said yeah if he did ask me, but just doing it, no sir. And all the other gals sitting at the door giggling. And the white guy, even though this man's sitting here bleeding and down bad, the minute Louis go touch him, he's like, oh, get your hands off me, boy. And then Louis is like, oh, excuse me, I'm not the other look at me good. And he's like, oh, my fault, Louis, that's you. Okay. Then when Louis leaves there, we meet Louis's brother Paul. Louis's brother Paul literally got the Bible in his hand and he's preaching. Listen, a real spread the gospel head ass, okay? He there preaching at one of Louis' gals, telling him to start this whoring life. Oh Lord, why you whoring? Everybody going to hell. And so Louis like, hey man, stop it. Get, carry your ass. And his brother's like, listen, hey, you gotta stop this. They get into a fight. He go punch his brother punch him, and then he had to go pull out his knife on his brother, and his brother gone. Now while this is happening, because this white man vampires in the corner watching, nosy. Like, and you know what's crazy? I didn't see him. Like, we on Liberty Street, we in the middle of the street, and y'all don't see this pasty white vampire all in y'all business. Like, you wouldn't see this white. Imagine you in the middle of a moment, because that's what's actually happening. A moment.
Watch closely. You're about to experience a nigga moment. Webster defines the nigga moment as a moment when ignorance overwhelms the mind of an otherwise logical Negro male.
And then you don't see some white guy in the corner like this. After that, Louis explains to us that even though his brother Paul is a pain with all his Bible thumping and that he have issues and stuff, he actually loves his brother Paul and they incredibly close, right? So then when we see his family, they having breakfast in the big fancy house. Cause like I say, they have money. Paul is in the house doing all kind of camp. It's his mummy. It's Louis, it's Louis, Paul, their sister Gretna, and the mummy sitting at the table trying to have breakfast. But Paul is mad, talking about, oh, we need to stop all this whoring. This is a shame. We going to hell because of this whoring business. Oh, mummy, why you don't have a problem with this man whoring and shaming our family's legacy? And look at her, because she want to be all up in the money and fur and purr. She's like, Louis is working on getting us a more savory business, but for now, I like money and nice things, so not too much on all that. Look, Gretna's like, Lord God, I getting married in a couple of days, and still the only thing I want to do is have some peace at breakfast. Can you shut the up? And then Paul start getting on Gretna because he's upset about the fact that Gretna getting married. Gretna getting married to a man named Levi, and Paul don't like that the man is Baptist, apparently. Like, I don't know what the Baptists do. He say, Mummy, Gretna marrying a man that can have a jump in the broom. He say it like she was a Joneser, like a real Joneser witch, and he wanted to have the Salem witch trials. I was like, Lord, what is this? Now, this is when the plot really stopped moving. So remember I tell y'all, our man Louis is a pimp. Louis, the competitor, even though you can hardly call it a competitor because it's the white whore house, so it way fancier, way nicer, and again is exclusive to the whites essentially, except for I guess they let Louis go there because Louis is big money, because Louis own it. Louis is a pimp. The one black gal that Louis is go there to see, Miss Lily. Now, Louis is gay. At this point, Louis is not honest with himself about being gay or the world, but Louis is gay, and he's telling us in the story, listen, I was gay, and the way that I used to delude myself into believing that I was not gay because the religion and the times were at odds with who I was. So the way I would delude myself was by having this one gal that I would go deal with at Fair Plays, and that one gal named Miss Lily. So he go to Fair Play, the white people brothel, to go find Miss Lily. When he go find Miss Lily, she's sitting up there with the white vampire. Now, watch this. Soon as he get over there, the first thing the white vampire can say to him is, he was like, oh, you must be doing well in life that they let you pass the door considering your ailment. Your ailment being your black ass skin. And immediately Louis looking at him like, this racist son of a bitch, irritated, like, what the that mean? And he's like, oh, I don't mean to be offensive. You must be doing well. They letting in here. And Louis is like, so then the vampire, his name is Lestat Lion Court. Whatever, child. He named White Vampire. The White Vampire starts telling him, like, basically says, oh, we've met before, I've seen you before. And Louis is like, know you. Apparently all look alike to you, but you ain't know me, son. And he was like, oh, but I do. Let me tell you the story about how I end up here. So he said he was on the boat, and then he smelled something, he heard some good music, and so then he wandered into the area of town to hear the music, but then he was really captivated by the food. And then as he was there experiencing the music and the food, he saw a moment. He saw Louis pulling the knife out on his brother, and he said to himself, I have to live here. I have to live here. Ain't nothing like family crime to make you want to move in. And then he called Louis handsome. And as he's saying all of this, Louis' face still screw up, right? And Lily's like, oh, see, it's destiny. Y'all were destined to be. And White Vampire is like, oh, we were destined to be friends. Meanwhile, and now he doing his vampire shit to have this man transfixed. So then as this conversation, this subtle dick measuring contest is going on, right? And Louis still glaring at this man. The man starts feeling up on Lily in front of him, right? We say he was mad that this was happening, but he was like, seized with fear and couldn't react. And then, you know, it basically comes to who Lily, because I want to remind you, this is a whorehouse. So they basically start throwing their money on the table. They can be like, who got the most money? And my man, when they match money at the White Vampire, pull off his ring to bring his bid over the top, and she gone to go White Vampire. And Louis say, I was so mad, I was emasculated, and I wanted to murder him, but I also wanted to be him. I say, whatever, child. He said he had come there for Lily, but he left only thinking about this White Vampire. And I'm like, now in the very next scene, we see White Vampire. They don't show us as White Vampire, but we know it's White Vampire. Look at him. White Vampire attacks and murders this white man in the streets. And then after that, we're now at a poker game, nothing but white men and Louis, right? So now Louis is there and White Vampire is at the table, and he there staring Louis down while they play this card game. So one of the white men at the table tries to offer a business endeavor to Louis, right? But then he only goes to offer him 10%. And Louis is like, you want me to do all the work for only 10%? What, it should be 15. They ask White Vampire what he thinks, and he starts talking to them, but basically he does his vampire magic, completely stops time, and starts only communicating with Louis through his mind. And he's like, 10%, 15%. Oh, why don't you know your worth? Why are you suffering these indignities? You know, these men, I hate how this country treats like you. You know, we don't do this in my country. And I was like, babe, you don't stop the cap. I say this lying sleazy vampire like they in France treating good. Man, shut the up. Like, that shit irritate the shit out of me. Oh, in this primitive country, look at they treat. Oh, me, I'm so much better. The white man vampire taking advantage of all these privileges and the advantages of being supernatural and now being inside your mind. Anyways, so this exchange happens, and instead of Louis rebuking this in the name of Jesus and deciding to run as fast as humanly possible, he decides to become friends with him. And he kept asking him, you know, how did you do it? How did you do this trick? And every week he would tell me, oh, next week, tell me. And I'm like, trick? Like, what the fuck are we talking? Forgive me if I'm wrong, but if you were at a table at a gathering and suddenly the white man across the table had frozen time and he was in your brain communicating with you, would you think this was just a card game or a parlor trick? Would that seem like somebody you want to kick it with? Look here, Louis don't be making sense, you know. Louis don't be making sense. So anyway, they decide to become friends. Now he all around the place with the white vampire all the time. What we gonna name him? We gonna name White Vampire LC. Lion Court, right? That's what he named. LC. He was running all around the place with LC, not realizing that LC is preying on him, right? And he running around so much with this damn white man that even his sister was like, so we gonna meet this white man you always seem to be with? What's up with that? And it's funny when he says that, Louis could go, he's not white, he's French. Huh? And I'm glad that Gretna have plenty sense and she reacted the way I did. She was like, oh, excuse me, white French. Like, what the? She was like, that's what we doing now? Like, he stopped being, this is a white man with blonde hair and ice cold demon blue eye. What is this? He's not white, he's French. Like, that's what? white, what you talking about? Anyways, he promises to come bring the man to dinner, and he also gives Gretna like tickets that he bought Hannah and her to be husband, I guess, like for them to take trips to Europe for their honeymoon. While they're having this conversation, you could see Paul like right across the way looking at Paul, and Paul is like, he has his Bible and he's ranting about the Bible to somebody, but nobody, like there's nobody there. And so it seems like, you know, they're talking about it like, what are we gonna do with Paul, right? And Gretna's talking about a place that they could put Paul, and Louis was like, we're not doing that. The last time we tried to do something like that, like it's not happening, like completely dead that. And so they never explicitly say what's wrong with Paul, and I think they probably never explicitly say what's wrong with Paul because they don't know explicitly what's wrong with Paul in that period of time, right? Like people's understanding of mental illness and all these different things. It seems from just my like speculating, like Paul have a touch of like schizophrenia, it seemed like. And let me just tell you, the actor who's playing Paul is acting his ass off. And I can't even crack no jokes for real because like I really enjoyed the performance and I felt attached to the character almost immediately. Now, in this next scene, the dinner where they invited the vampire, LC. Now, remember I told y'all that Louis ain't making no sense to me, right? Like it didn't. Let's just count all the times. Let's just put up all the red flags of all the times Louis don't make no good decisions. So we're now at deciding to befriend the man who had stopped time and been in your mind. Now he has that man at the table. So Paul ain't internet. Paul, they have that man at the table as a guest at the table, and they have Gretna soon to be husband at the table. Now, as you know, Paul don't like the fact that Gretna's marrying this Baptist man, and he damn sure don't like this confusing white vampire at the table. So Paul asked LC, do you know Christ? And when he asked him this, mind you, Louis was like, shut your mouth, Paul. And I didn't like that. Don't scream at Paul. I don't like how they treat Paul sometimes. Like I understand you frustrated. Maybe it's because my brother's autistic, so I don't like that. Like, but he screamed at Paul. And then Louis was like, no, don't worry about it. I can answer. And then he starts telling this story. He starts telling a story about how he's so far from Christ and what his experience is, but he starts doing it by being in his mind, like freezing time. You could see the fear on Paul's face while he goes in his mind, and Louis realizes what he's doing and he bangs on the table and he's like, don't do that to my family, right? And I'm just like, and then immediately in the next scene, and then LC like apologizes to his mommy for being rude, right? Like, oh, the rudeness is on me. And in the next, he was like, oh, I've always had a temper. Then in the next scene, we see Louis and LC walk in, and LC's apologizing for doing that to his brother. And he was like, no, it's okay. If I had your tricks, I would have done the same. And I'm like, first and foremost, stop calling it tricks. This is the devil. Like, what the are you stop calling it tricks. People don't just, like, that's not a trick. That's not a magic trick. That's not a parlor trick. Like, people just do not possess the ability to be in people's brain. You should be far more concerned as to what this monster is. Now, but I'm like, second of all, you would have done it too. You just watch this white devil come into your house, freeze time, get inside your brother's brain, looked at the trauma on your brother's face, and you thought to yourself, this your man's? Let me go on a midnight stroll with him? Oh, that's okay. If I had your tricks, I'd have done the same thing too. Bitch assness, Louis. Bitch assness. Like, Louis don't be thinking that thinking with his dick, because he don't make no sense. I say, let me tell you. Anyway, before I got carried away. So Levi was like, no, like, you know, don't be mad at your brother or whatever. Like, you should envy your brother. And Louis was like, why would I envy him? He believes that God is talking to him through the birds in his head. And then they continue talking about dinner, and Elsie brings up the fact that Louis had lied to them about a play they had gone to see together, and he had said that he left early. And Elsie was like, why are you lying? You were actually really moved by it and crying. And Louis explained to them, like, listen, I have to be tough, okay? Ain't nobody into all of that. Like, when my daddy died, we was 4 months away from bankruptcy, and I had to take over everything, and so I have to show strength. You can't be telling these people, like, crying at plays, man. I look like... Ah. So then, all of a sudden, Elsie goes, shall we have a nightcap? And he was like, you know, because he ain't want to seem gay. So he's like, oh, no, I think I'm going to call it to bed for the night. And then he is like, oh, I have a gift for you. And then you look up and you see the gift is Miss Lily. So now they have Miss Lily getting naked for the two of them, even though Miss Lily quickly exposes, even though Louis is be going and paying Miss Lily, they don't never actually do anything. All he does is talk to her because Louis is gay. This is just for appearances. So now they have her start kissing up and grinding up on Louis, and then Elsie is watching them. he watching them from the next couch. And so now Louis, oh Lord, Louis getting excited because LC watching him, because he wouldn't be into Miss Lily. Miss Lily feeling up on him, but the only reason why he into that is because LC sitting across from him, literally in his brain communicating. Like, let me tell y'all, the only thing, I just hope y'all are not expecting me to root for this relationship, because y'all have to be crazy if y'all expect me to root for this relationship, because you know what kind of absurd power dynamic this is. Like, this is not just a white man in what is this, a white man in the Reconstruction era, but a vampire, one who is literally going in this man's brain and manipulating it. Oh, the stress. Elsie, at this point, Elsie comes from off the couch and literally comes onto the couch with Louis and Lily, and they start like making out, like both like kissing and feeling upon Lily and whatever. And then Elsie goes to go touch Louis. He immediately like smacks his hand because Lily there, so he have to play straight in front of Lily. And Lily was like, it's okay. And then instantly Elsie put her to sleep anyway, because she was only there to lure this man who he knows, to lure this human man who is in the closet, uncomfortable with his sexuality and not a willing, consensual partner to none of this. He only brought Lily to lure this in the crib. So now he then puts Lily to sleep so that then they could still have wild vampire demon sex. Listen to me. Why they have these people start and levitating and vampiring. Like, not only he could bite this man, then they levitating in the air while he behind him. I pause the TV, I say, what this is they have me watching. Like, what this is they have me watching. What this is they have me watching. So then you cut to the present where Louis is explaining this story to Daniel Malloy. He asked Daniel Malloy, like, you remember when you used to do drugs? Do you remember the best high you ever had? And Daniel Malloy was like, yes, nigga, 1978. And he said, well, imagine that, and then times it by a bunch of trips and a bunch of trips to the different galaxies and blah, blah, blah. I said, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, you thirst bucket loser. He's like, oh, he say a bunch of dramatic words for this was the best sex he ever had. And it's like, this is a vampire manipulating you, taking control of you. He was like, oh, it was the best sex he ever had because the experience of him biting him, you know what I mean, and doing a little drink, right? Instead of actually draining him, he just took a little bit of blood, which, shows so much restraint or whatever, that he did that. And that made him feel like a certain level of intimacy or whatever, and so close to him. And he had actually never been intimate or close or shown or vulnerable or showed him his real self to anybody in the world, let alone a man. And I'm just like, that's because this man is... Anyway, child, let's just Elsie. So when Louis say, wow, this the closest I ever felt to anybody. I'm never coming back here again. Now, the next thing we see, after that, Louis stopped Elsie all together. Then when we next see is Gretna's wedding. Everybody at the wedding hype. They did in fact jump the broom, and Paul is seated. Then after that, we have like a lot of cute scenes with Paul and Gretna and Louis. Louis and Paul do a full tap dancing routine. And I do think it's funny that 2 scenes ago you was white man and now you physically tap dancing. Then him and Paul decide to go climb up to the roof to go watch the sunrise, which I guess is something they always used to do. So as they sitting on top there, Paul's talking to him. He's like, do you think Levi loves Gretna? And he's like, yeah, I think so. And he's like, do you think he loves her with everything he's got? Because she needs a lot of love. And Levi's like, yeah, I think so. And he's like, and what about you? You still hanging around with that white devil? And he was like, no, that didn't work out. And he said, good, because he's the devil. And Louis tried to be like, no, he's not the devil. And Paul was like, no, he is the devil. He literally told me so. He talked to me without moving his lips. And let me tell you, I don't know why that wasn't immediately alarming to Louis. Like, your brother, like, because it's true. You know that is really what he was doing and what he is. So, like, your brother's reading of it should be serious. And you should also be thinking about what the impact that would be on your brother, right? Like, if he knows his brother has issues, his brother's already seeing people, hearing voices, all these different things. Imagine a white man that he see and perceive as the devil physically when he already thinks that he hears from God and stuff like that. And this white devil comes and sits in his house, freezes time, gets in his brain, and obviously told him some sick, wicked shit. But again, stigmatized Louis ain't thinking about nothing. And this really, I ain't gonna lie, this really, really break my heart, babe. Because Paul was like, I love you, Louis. And Louis was like, I love you too. And he ain't even notice Paul walked right off the roof and kill herself. Like,
I really miss my nigga. I really miss my nigga. White people you can sing it to, just change that into a W. Miss my wigger.
and that really makes me wonder too, what that or Paul, like, what did he do? You know what I mean? What did he do? And if you see based on the rest of the events that Elsie is a wicked bitch, kill that boy, brother, baby. You can't tell me that that's unrelated to whatever that did when he put him in that trance. Unfortunately for Louis, his mommy going to go blame him. Ain't that some shit? When they sitting down, his mommy is like, what did you say to your brother to make him kill himself? Like, he's going to hell. You know he can't go to heaven after having killed himself. Meanwhile, the preacher in the room is like, no, he didn't kill himself. He slipped and fell. Because, you know, that's how religious people have to go. When people commit suicide, they have to rewrite the narrative. Louis is sitting there looking at his mommy like horrified, heartbroken, you know, love his brother, just saw his brother die, had nothing to do with why his brother killed himself, and his mommy sitting there blaming him. She actually fixed her mouth to tell this boy that his brother's in hell because of him. Louis literally say the last sunrise he ever saw was with his brother, and he don't even miss the sun because it carries with it terrible memories. Now, this one, like Elsie, this white vampire, start infuriating me. This man is at his brother's funeral. Y'all believe this vampire roll up on him to confront him about ghosting him at his brother's funeral and turning up and getting mad? Like, he's like, I say, babe, this don't have no cooth, babe. Like, mad. Then when we get to the graveyard, Louis mommy still having a attitude with him. He gonna ask his mommy if she want him to walk her home, and she's like no, and then immediately turns to Levi, Gretna husband, to ask him if he could do it. This bitch. And Gretna tell him like, hey, listen, she didn't mean it. And Louis like, she did mean it. And she was like, don't internalize it. She just needs somebody to blame right now. That's all it is. And so now on top of that, while this is happening, you believe this vampire is literally in his brain trying to tell him, oh, come to me. He trying to bury his brother in this vampire, focused on getting his dick wet. This shit run me so hot. So now Louis stress out. He feels so guilty. He feel like all of this is because he gone man. His mommy blaming him for his brother's death. He thinking it's because he stressed out because he feel like this white man really was the devil. That man come there to Paul. Now Paul dead. The mommy blaming him. He feel terrible. He start drinking. He get dead drunk. When you look, my man start racing to the church. I mean, fucking knees to chest. He at the church. He begged the fathers, let me in. The priest. He get in the box and he start to do confessions. Y'all ain't believe as he in the middle of the best monologue I seen in a little bit, talking about all of his sins and how he laid with a man. He laid with a man and he laid with this white devil, and now this devil has done. You believe? I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Oh, this horrify me. This white vampire Elsie come into church and kill the priest, murder the priest, like viciously murder the priest, and then the other priest come running. He's following the priest and he fucking blast through his face, and this him Louis all dead scared, and he's like, oh, you praying to your fake meaningless weak God when I'm really God and all this. I'm like, and here's what's crazy. While I seeing the most demonic wickedness I ever did see, some demonic and wicked where me, who is not religious, I ain't even have no Bible in my house to clutch, but oh my God, I said, what is this? What is this? What is this? Imagine, you know how scary that is? Imagine going to the church to go pray, to go beg God for forgiveness. You talking to the priest for absolution, and a demon come in church and murder the priest. Like, if it's never been more clear that this is a wicked evil, I don't even. So then he gets in Louis' face and starts like trying to convince Louis to let him kill him. Like, oh, let me give you death. You not even being your real self. Oh, you should be gay and out and be my companion. And I love you. And just beg me. Just ask me to give you death. And I can make you powerful like what I am and all of this. And somehow I really could not understand how Louis could see what he just saw. Hear that deranged nut ass fucking speech and say, yeah, that sounds good to me. He's like, let me be my companion for the rest of forever. Yeah, yes. He said, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck y'all be watching? Look here, y'all. I'm locked in, but y'all better not be trying to sell me on this bullshit like this is a love story. You better not. You bet not. Oh, and I'm sorry. I don't know how I almost forgot. But that white devil murdered Miss Lily. I completely forgot. Before Louis goes running to the church, he first goes to Fairplay, the white brothel, looking for Miss Lily. And old girl tells him Miss Lily died. Miss Lily was found under the docks. So one of the things that Louis confronts Elsie on when they're having this scary ass scene in the church after he done massacred the priest is he says, you murdered Miss Lily. And he's like, oh, like she was living such a magnificent life. Just like, what the like, I cannot understand, like, other than the sheer undue manipulation and power and vulnerability and all these different things that he has over Louis in this moment. But bruh, what about a white devil traumatizing your brother, then your brother killing himself, then that white devil not giving a fuck about your dead brother because he busy trying to you, trying to bury your brother, and he's screaming at you about ghosting him. He trying to lure you from the grave site because he trying to so he follows you into church to murder the priest. You find out he murdered Miss Lily, and something about that says to you, let me join him for the rest of my life. Y'all ain't gonna be able to convince me that Louis ain't a dumb bitch after that. Like, the episode opens up in the present day where Malloy is at Louis' house and Louis' employees are like rolling out food for him and stuff. And so Malloy asks his one employee, like, hey, what's up? How long you been working for him? Like, what's the arrangement here? And the guy was like, I serve a God, okay? And I am honored to do it. I'm like, bruh. You really gotta be a goofy loser, groupie bitch, babe. Like, I can't even understand. Like, imagine you raise a son that see a man as like a blood-sucking demon and be like, oh, that's my God. Oh, I'd be honored to serve him. Pussy. Like, I'm like, oh my God, this man ain't serious, but I serve a God. I say, Jesus, Lord. Louis finally comes out and he tells Malloy he's sorry for his outburst in the last episode and that it's not gonna happen again. He starts forcing Malloy to have a 6-course meal while he starts telling the story again. So Louis starts telling the story while he sip wine, while he sip blood through a wine glass. So we flash back to where Louis is becoming a vampire because to update you, he let... I know he was... I ain't gonna blame him because I don't want to victim blame because it's very clear to me that Lestat's bitch ass had him under a trance, like he's isolated him from everybody in his life and all of that at the time in which he chose to be a vampire. But dog, I having a hard time believing it makes sense to me that you looking at it, kill the priest. You just learned he killed your bottom bitch, Miss Emily. And you have every reason to believe that he might have caused your brother's death. At the very least, he don't give a about your brother's death because he rolling up on you at the funeral talking about why you ghost me. What about that? What about a white man? Think about this. For what we know, we could get to it, but for how we know Louis feels about how white people giving it up in them days, I cannot understand what would make Louis feel like a white man with all the powers, privileges, and dickheadishness to him, but also is a blood-sucking demon massacring the priest. What about that would make you feel like, you want to get married? Maybe we should be together forever. Like, word? Annoying. So anyway, when we see Louis, he is writhing. He's like now in the agonizing part of his transition. And Lestat is over there. They wheeling out the priest they just killed. The Lestat just killed. And now Louis is feeding for blood. So he goes to go drink from the priest. And Lestat tells him, no, we don't drink from the dead. We drink from the living. So now they're there high off blood while Louis try to figure out how to his new urges. And Lestat is there trying to teach him. And they trying to figure out how he could drink. And what's so funny to me is they walking around and Lestat is teaching him like how the world is now for you as a vampire. He could tell him about the humans, like, oh, they were once your brothers and sisters, but now they're your savory inferiors. And I'm like, You see what I'm saying? That's what he thinks. Like, first of all, like, not only does Lestat constantly, we could get to it, just always gaslight this man and play like he don't understand racism and racial dynamics and all this stuff in America. Meanwhile, you out here calling the humans your savory inferiors. So whether or not you telling me you didn't understand that he was black or these dynamics and all this stuff, which he absolutely fucking does, right? Because let's not forget, the first thing he ever say to Louis, the first thing he said was, "Oh, I'm surprised they let your black ass come through the door." That's the first thing he ever say to them. So now he talking about, oh, it's savory inferiors, which tells me, what did you see this man as? You see him as a human, a and every which way kind of beneath you. And here you are using your undue vampire influence on him to turn him into your concubine for life. I hate this Lestat. Like, Lestat really is the white devil. The white devil. And just like the white devil, here he go preying on people, right? So they go to the bar. He like, oh, pick out somebody. Louis picks out this white man to kill, who is like, you know, he looked like he's a sailor. I know. He talking to the other guys. And Lestat is like, oh, no. It could take you pick the prettiest guy in the bar. It'll take you all night just to separate him from the people. And then people will be looking for him in the morning. Let the prey come to you, right? And so then they go look over at this poor, helpless nerd in the mark just on him. They say, that's our killed. So now this little loser man talking Louis head off about, oh, his life, the trip to something, or he sell farm equipment, these do something. And they take him back to the crib, right? Now he was just talking about his wife and children, but they take him back to the crib and he's like, oh, you know, let's be clear, gentlemen. I'm just here to talk about farm equipment because it's very clear he is a closeted gay man married to his wife and has children. But when he go on his little trip, he won't go get him a little quiet time with the fellas them, right? So he wanted to have a little discreet thing, but instead of getting a little discreet something, he get killed. He get killed. Louis, oh Lord, I say, what is this? Kill the man immediately. Then after that, once Louis drink this man, he started freaking himself out. He's like, I need to go home. I have things to do. He you know, he was just a human. He wouldn't go back to his human life into to some degree. The things he have to do. He's like, oh, I have to go home. Elsie is like, not Elsie, Lestat and this bitch ass man. I was calling him Elsie the first episode because I didn't want to say Lestat. I like that name just wasn't rolling off my tongue. But I just don't feel the need. I don't feel right calling the white devil nickname. So Lestat and this bitch ass, right? Lestat is like, oh, this is your home now. This is your home, Louis. And Louis is like, no, don't get the up off me, Louis. Spot kick that, push him all the way to the thing and gone outside. Now, the minute and as he was going outside, Lestat was like, you're gonna have a hard time doing that. And mind you, I thought, because Lestat's so wicked, I say, oh Lord, he won't go home. Lestat done murder your whole family, eh? But no, he go outside and immediately start burning up because his ass agreed to be a vampire before reading the terms and services. You can't be in the sun. Like, it never even occurred to him to ask Lestat what he is. Like, his dumb ass just, the whole time he was friend with him, oh, you and your tricks where you just read mind and stop time. Then he saw a viciously decapitate and murder priests, and he was like, I want to do that too. He ain't even asked the man what he is. And the funny thing is, I'm like, I trying to think to myself, if I didn't know I was watching a show of vampires, if I was just walking through my life and I met a white man who read my mind and stopped time, and then the next time I saw him after I was in the church begging the priest them to free me from said scary white man who stops time and reads minds, I then saw him rip the priest's head off, I would probably think that this is the Antichrist. Like, I trying to think, like, what could you be? Like, imagine a white man on all fours flying through the air, murking a priest, and then trying to sell you on anything. I'm sorry, I need to talk about this recap, but I just keep getting, I just flabbergasted by that still. Louis, what are these choices? Louis? So anyway, once he go outside and start burning up like the sun, he run his ass back to Lestat house, and then Lestat is like, oh, come now to bed, and he come and bring out the coffin. Louis is like, I know I am not sleeping in no coffin. And Lestat going and get ass naked to get in the coffin and invite him in the coffin like, we could get you your own. And I'm just like, respectfully too, why they gotta sleep in the coffin? Like, you already in this dark ass house. You can't see the sun from outside because y'all are vampires, and y'all ain't got no gas coming in and out of it. It ain't like y'all at the risk of somebody just open up your door. Why do you voluntarily want to sleep in the coffin? Make sense, Lestat. Lestat is, let me tell you, just like white supremacy, it don't make no sense. I can't stand Lestat. So then we skip to the present where Louis is obviously telling the story to Malloy, right? So he just told the story of him getting his ass in the getting butt naked and getting the coffin to go continue start after a night of killing men who just selling farm equipment, killing priests. And he's like, oh, I came out that night, I made the choice for myself, to get in that coffin with him. And that coffin with him is a vampire. We were equals. And let me tell you something, Malloy, that white man is the realest in the room. That's what Louis there. Because Malloy was like, as he's like, oh, we were equals in that coffin. Malloy was like, white master, black servant, equals in the dark, right? Yeah, like, because what the are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about, Louis? Like, so then as they having this conversation, Malloy and Louis starts being a weirdo. He brings out a living rabbit just so he could eat this rabbit in front of Malloy and start making some points and foolishness about how the book should be a warning to people. Then he starts talking about how as vampires, they're part of the divine plan, the ability to see all of man's life in front of him, and then having the ability to end it and all this different bullshit and being the architect to life and death, some kind of nonsense. And Malloy is sitting there like, I hope you don't expect the readers to go for this shit. Like, so we see more of Lestat trying to teach Louis about his powers, and then Louis realizes, oh, he could read minds, right? Because Lestat starts telling him what the people around him are thinking. Louis was like, oh, well, stop holding up on the powers. Teach me how to do that. I want to read people's minds. And Lestat is like, oh, what a inconvenient, cumbersome gift we have as vampires to hear humans' pointless thoughts and blah, blah, blah. And I tell you, Lestat's so, just like a white supremacist to be full of shit. Oh, humans' thoughts are so pointless. You don't care. They're so uninteresting. But was you not just spending your time reading all the Louis thoughts so that you could seduce him? You piece of shit. Shut up. Like, all around the people. And then he was like, all humans' thoughts all boil down to either I want food, I want to go home, and I want sex. And I was like, shut the up. Like, shut the up, you arrogant piece of shit. Like, you clearly don't kick it with nobody. You know what I mean? I was like, but you have all this immortality and all these gifts and stuff. You clearly haven't bothered to use it to go have no enlightened conversation with no enlightened people. Because let me tell you something. First and foremost, some of us want
sandwiches.
Okay? We want
toxic broccoli.
We want to chill. We want cats. We want, like, did he even say bread? What he said? I want food. I want to go home. And I want sex. It wasn't even I want money. I want bread. Wasn't even on the list. I want mental stability. Wasn't on the list. I want equality, freedom. He literally standing next to a black man who every opportunity he gets start making noise about the inequality of being a black man in America. And this mother... Oh, all humans want is food, to go home, and sex. No, all you want, bitch ass... hate Lestat. Like, I hate him. I supposed to be cracking jokes with y'all. See, y'all want me to watch this show? I see House of Dragons. I was cracking my little jokey jokes. Y'all want me to watch this? And all I doing is sitting there like this. Every time Lestat open his mouth, I'm like, why don't you shut the up? Even the examples he was pointing to, he was like listening to a homeless man, he was listening to a woman, and he was listening to a black man on the road to like illustrate his points that all people just either want food or want sex or want to go home. And that was such a wild, ignorant oversimplification of what them people were saying. The homeless man was talking about he's hungry, and they in the church talking to him about, oh, he should just pray, but he can't eat, like, pray and God ain't who could give him food, right? I'm like, you don't feel like that boils down to a little bit more than he wants food? Maybe like some basic human rights, some equality, bitch ass. And the black man was talking about wanting to make it and wanting to accomplish something and wanting to leave. Anyways, man, I hate Lestat. Damn white devil. So then when we next see, Louis decides that he wants to go see his family, right? Even though Lestat is all like, oh, you're a vampire now, you need to end these human affiliations, right? But Louis goes to go see his family. And what's so funny is the first thing I thought when I thought when I saw Louis this episode, when he was writhing in pain during the transition, my first thought was, how the f you figure you go home with purple eyes? How you feel like you can explain why your black ass has purple eyes in 1912? Where you get them from? They have any like, they don't even have no dollar store with no colored eye contacts. But you know what? He was on top of that because he showed up to his mommy house in fashionable shades, to which his mommy then thought to herself in her mind, as he could read, was this gay. his mommy in her mind, he listening to her mommy mind, and mommy's like, just like a homosexual to be doing their nails like that and wearing these gay ass shades. So then from there, after he leaves his bitch ass mummy, you know what I thought was funny though? When Lestat greets the mummy. Lestat is such a shady bitch, and it is make me laugh the way he's be shady. I ain't gonna lie. I hate him, but this was funny to me because I can't even stand Louis mummy. Louis mummy, Lestat was like, thank you for the invitation. She was like, I don't remember inviting you, but take your overdress. She was like, take your overdress ass and go have some fun. And he was like, he said, I see you with a banjo band in your, he said, oh, I see you with a banjo band in your front yard. But the way he didn't have to say anything else. It was just the way it was like, she shaded him, and my mind just was like, right. Anyway, you have a banjo yard in your, you have a banjo band, you peasant bitch. Like, that made me laugh so hard the way he do it. He was like, right, very well then. You happen to have a banjo band in your front yard. So then Louis gone to go see his sister, and his sister was super excited to see him. She ain't seen him in forever because he don't come around because he's a vampire. So she that excited. She hugging him. She pregnant. He immediately, because he's a vampire, he can hear the baby's heart beating. So he tell her, oh, you're pregnant. She was like, who tell you? He was like, oh, nobody. And then he tells her that she's having twins. She takes his shades off. She takes his glasses off and sees his purple eyes. And she goes, oh, your eyes are like church windows. And he was like, oh, same me, same eyes. And she was like, no, different you and better you. I love you. Come around more. And I was like, listen, now, hold on now. I love Louis' sister. I love his sister. And I love their relationship. And I love that she's be prepared to accept and embrace him and love him, and that he gets to experience that. How ever. If you as a have a fellow sibling and said sibling disappears in 1912 because they've become the companion, it seems, to the white devil from France, and they show up hiding in shades, and when you take their shades off, their eyes are now suddenly purple. Not contacts, but they have purple eyes. Would you or would you not have a priest perform an exorcism on this purple-eyed immediately? What the I was like, you don't have no questions for him? Like, how his eye get to be purple? Anyway, now, when we next see Louis is in the sharpest suit. Let me say that. Ever since Louis became a vampire and he be kicking it with Lestat, he be dressing down. Okay, he be dressing like Steve Harvey, like Steve Harvey's stylist work for him. He's in the flyer suit, and he is, remember early in episode 1, the white people had offered him that shitty deal where they'd be like, oh, we give you 15% to like act on our behalf and basically run and do all the labor of us trying to like set up whatever whorehouse or whatever the they're gonna do, right? So he is talking to this white man on behalf of the alderman, and the alderman is all like, oh boy, oh, like looking at him like he's a dumb all the time. He talking about the more he talks, the more he explains everything or whatever. The white man is like, oh, you's a good shoe. Oh, you smart. Oh, they giving you a good 15%. You deserve. Oh, what a good clever. Oh, ho, 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 you're good. And so he's like, you know what I just realized? I'm actually a vampire. I should kill this. Like, he's like, yo, Louis starts talking, telling Malloy, my whole life as a black man, I've been forced to deal with these kind of indignities. Yes, sir. Why they call me boy and talk down to me and all this. I said, and Louis was like, that picked the wrong night to be on shit. Murked him. Now when he murks him, Lestat all hot. Lestat mad as and it's so funny to me because Lestat could be flying in church, killing priests, killing random white men on the street, killing Miss Emily, killing whoever the he want to kill. Now all of a sudden he's acting like he's so discreet, and he's so selective and so particular about how he's be killing and who he's be killing. I mean, now that Louis killed somebody, Louis is like, you don't get it. He disrespected me. And Lestat was like, how did he disrespect you? And he was like, he told me he told me I did a good job. Lestat was like, I don't understand what the problem is. I'm confused because Louis ain't saying this thing, because Louis ain't bothering to explain like, oh, he telling me I did a good job, boy, and talking down to me and all of that. And so Louis was like, you don't get it. You don't get it, white man. Like I'm color. He's like, you don't get it. You don't get America. And I really, this whole bullshit we doing where we acting like racism in France, or like Lestat doesn't have any understanding of racism or the racial dynamics in America. He's fully aware of the racial dynamics in America. He's fully again, I want to remind y'all, the first thing he said to Louis was, how your black ass even make it past the door. He seems to understand that. And it's crazy to me how a vampire who's been alive for however much longer on this earth is playing crazy like he don't understand. Anyway, so Louis says to him, colored, white, Creole French, which is an excellent point, by the way. That Creole French distinction by, like, to him, the black man is Creole, but this white man is French, right? So colored, white, Creole, French, and Lestat just keep running on. He mad about the police. He's like, the police are gonna be looking for him. This is an important man. I killed some priests. He's like, for all you know, people just be like, oh, the priest, he was diddling children. But you want to kill an important man, the police could be looking. And so Louis is like, you don't understand. I ain't trying to hear that. So when you next see them, they sleeping and they laying in their coffins. They're separate coffins, closed next to each other. And Lestat could be like, just for the record, I want to state, if he had disrespected you, I would have killed him myself. He said if. This black man has already told him, matter of factly, he disrespected me. And it's not like, what are you debating? We know for a fact these are all racist white supremacists in New Orleans in 1912. You know that. What are you ain't sure about? Like it's still up in the air whether or not he was disrespected. If he had disrespected me, disrespected you, I would have killed him myself. I say, you thought you was being cute, but I heard that. I heard you, white devil. And so then Lestat sits up and Lestat's like, what can I do to make it up to you? And so Louis says, I want to buy the fair play. And then Lestat immediately goes, oh, that's ambitious. And I say, you see this white devil here? He done. Lestat trying my patience, okay? He is trying my patient. Oh, and I forget, before they even end up in their coffin, when Lestat was just mad about him killing this guy, Lestat is like, oh, listen, you're out of control. You need to behave, fledgling, blah, 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 blah. Show restraint, fledgling, blah, 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 whatever, fledgling. And Louis was like, it's starting to sound a lot like slave. Stop saying that shit to me. So anyway, Lestat buy him the fair play. When Lestat buy him the fair play, Louis immediately puts his girls on. He says he paid all the people at the fair play better than they'd ever been paid before. He also made sure he paid Lestat all his money back, which was a point of pride for him. So he was big popping, had a bunch of money. He say from like 1912 to 1970, he was making plenty money. But what he wasn't going and doing was seeing his family. Okay, so he finally decides to go see his family, go see his sister, and she's so and when he go see his sister, the sister we had just seen when she was pregnant with the twins, she done had the twins, and she now done had a third baby, and it's the first time he coming around. She ain't seeing none of, and she's upset. She's like, oh, that's because you've been with this goddamn white man. And it's like, yes actually, sister, but it's deeper than that. He's not just with the white man, he's with the white devil, and he's joined him in hell. Oh my God. So now the sister give him the baby to hold, right? And now the sister goes to leave the room. He holding the baby and he out here, but he's a vampire. So now he's struggling not to eat the baby. All you hear is the baby heart beating, the baby this. And the sister come back in the room just in time to stop him. But then she going to leave the room again and give him the baby. And this point, Fang's out. So now when we pause the story right there, and Louis tells Malloy, you know, I don't kill anymore. I haven't killed since the year 2000. And Malloy is like, yeah. And you eat the baby. And he's like, oh, those other vampires are still a slave to the blood, not me. I said, I haven't killed since 2000. And then they have like a boy toy come sit next to him for him to go drink this man dry, right? Not dry. He didn't kill him. He did cause him to fall out though. He did take quite a sip out the man. And as he's saying all this and doing all of this, Malloy is like, did you eat the baby? But he didn't eat the baby. Rather than eat the baby, what he did was leave the baby on the ground and flee. Now, his sister does not know he's a vampire. So from her mind, imagine from the sister perspective, their younger brother died, and then you immediately left to go be with the white devil. Now you don't come around. It's been years. And when you show up and she give you her baby to hold, you leave her baby. A baby on the ground crying and screaming. Let me tell you something. He don't have to worry about them no more. He don't have to worry about going around his family no more. Because if I know black people like I know black people, they could curb stomp him in the kitchen when he get there. You can leave the baby on the ground? Okay. So then when he rushed back when we see him again, he's back home with Lestat all stressed out. He's like, oh my God, I'll never be able to control myself. I couldn't even be around my own nephew. Oh my God, I'm so stressed out. And Lestat is like, oh, there. If you really love your family, I tell you should stop going around them. Spare them this. You're a vampire. And my like, so what? So I ain't gonna ever have a family of my own? Like, he's like, you should just go ahead and put me in incinerator, man. Like, this ain't it. And Lestat is like, oh, what if we went on a vacation? What if we went on a trip? And Louis is like, this man, it almost like this hearing me say, just almost eat my nephew. This man talking about a trip. We cannot go in daylight, but this man talking about he want to take trip. And then Lestat is like, oh, okay, never mind. All right, because Lestat wanted to go to Rome, but he say, okay, never mind. Let's have Rome come to us. And then Louis say, oh, not another opera. Oh my God. And if sure enough, another opera. He was like, oh, I had tuxedos made for us. I've neglected our romance. And Louis received this like this was cute. And Louis received this like this was cute. And then immediately what you see is they say Louis can't go where they have to go. The different place where they have to go to watch these operas is not like, they don't give a that Louis have a little bit of money. He's a they are not on his run. He can't be there. So in order for Lestat and Louis to go to this opera place as a black man and a white man, Louis has to pretend to be his servant, walk behind him, treat him as has to pretend to be his valet, walk behind him, take his coat, do all of this, right? And I think it's so funny to me how Lestat plays like he don't understand the dynamics, but he's know exactly what it is to have Louis doing this kind of bullshit. And I think it's interesting how it's already upset. You act like you don't get it, even though he constantly talking to you about this. This is your partner. He's telling you how he feels the indignity of as a black man having to be in these experiences and having to be treated like this and having to be in these roles. And you think that, oh, when he's already upset because you already took his mortal life and turned him into a vampire that can't be around his baby nephew, you think, oh, you know what would really make the nice night? What would really make this a nice night? What would be really romantic? If I made him go to the opera again so he could have to pretend to be my valet and feel like a boy in the goddamn seat. I say, babe, I hate this Lestat. Lestat is a bitch ass. I hate Lestat. And I just can't believe Louis, like, I just be like, Lord, Louis, you find yourself in this position. Louis is like, I'm sitting there mad as right, like boiling over because he hates this, the indignities of this. And this could see that. He know that. So isn't that interesting? And the fact that Louis said another opera, which means you regularly have him going to the opera. So you know this experience where he is being mad because he is forced to have to act like a servant to you, and that's what you like. That's what your idea of a romantic outing is. Mother's like, I want him to put a ice stake through this. Yes, I hate Lestat. And then as Lestat's version of trying to disarm him, as Louis said he did and was successful somehow in Louis' mind, was to, as he see Louis sitting there like stewing over the fact that he have to pretend to be a servant in these rooms, Lestat could be like, oh, I hated being lonely. You've ridden me of loneliness. You have to be with me forever. And it's like, so that don't, so Louis was like, oh, he had a way about him. Oh, even as upset as I was, he was able to disarm me. I was like, so you're upset. Let me get this right, Louis. You are upset because as a black man in America, you are being forced to deal with all these racist indignities of having to serve white men and make yourself small. And you felt comforted by the white man who quite literally took your life, used his powers to manipulate you into his mind, to force a relationship with you, and took your life, and now has put you in a role, has made you his servant. His, like, what did Louis was like, he was basically all at the same time like my mentor, my God, my partner, my maker, my all of these different things. That was comforting to you as you were sitting there feeling upset about being I just don't know what this don't be clicking for Louis. I just really don't understand. I really don't understand what Louis into. Louis explains to us that Lestat loves the opera. Lestat loves music. That the only time that Lestat comes to appreciate humans, that they're not just food to him, is when they good at singing, when they good at the opera, when he have this appreciation for it. Now Lestat was there like feeling dead good because the woman was singing. She was singing her ass off, but he did not like how the man was singing, and that's an understatement, baby. Because why Lestat gets so mad about how bad the man's singing, he decided he could kill him. Lestat goes on a quest now after this to go pretend to go be the man friend, go talk him up, only so we could go take him back home. And let me tell you something, these are a whole lot of straight gay men in New Orleans, boy, because they surely for the times, they are not having a hard time finding men who seem to be willing to go back home with two all the time. I'd be like, interesting. But anyway, they take the man back home, and immediately Lestat starts like essentially torturing him, like making him like sing the song and showing him how he sucked and telling him how terrible he was, and then immediately go kill the man. He don't kill him immediately, like stabs him in the throat so the man could die slow but can't talk, can't sing. And when he does that, Louis screams out. Louis is like, why do you have to do that? Why do you have to humiliate the man? And Lestat gets angry, like, and Lestat was like, because I enjoy it. At least I'm not trying to make you enjoy it. He was like, kill him fast if you need to, but kill him, okay? You're a killer. Embrace your instinct, because Lestat is hell-bent on trying to force Louis to be the worst version of himself, because that's the only way he could be with a nigga Lestat. So Louis watching Lestat drain this man for hours, and he say he participated, and Lestat was enthralled the whole time with like drinking this man, draining this man dry. And Louis said he never enjoyed it. He was just pretending all night, Lestat, and he was just feeling like, you know, a botched experiment. Like he was like, Lestat was wrong about me. I was never actually gonna savor it. I was never going to savor killing people or feel that way about it. Let me tell y'all, listen, what is this show? Like, what is this? Like, what is this? Because, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't even have nothing to say. What is this? The episode opens up with Louis and Lestat sitting in the town square, and this could be relevant at the end of the episode. We're gonna come full circle because Lestat is like, oh, white man history, white man's history, white man's history. Did you know that the white man this? Did you know that the white man that? Did you know this, that? And Louis was like, did you know they used to take slaves' head off and hang it up on the damn gates? Yeah. And Lestat was like, hold on, I ain't finished the book. I'm gonna see if they included that. Then from there, Louis is like, Lestat, do you ever think that maybe we, like vampires, our kind, would put here for another purpose? And Lestat was like, I put you here. Your purpose is to enjoy yourself. And let me just say this. Y'all see how that white man like to play God, right? But I put you here. You didn't put him nowhere. You didn't put him nowhere. Just because you turned him to a vampire, you didn't bless him with life. You ain't responsible for nothing. You're not God. Like all of a sudden, Louis' purpose is whatever this white man ordained it because you decided to kill him. Kill him. You killed him. Let's be clear. Let's be clear about what happened, okay? You decided you wanted to some, so you murked him. And made him the immortal. But anyway, Lestat was like, your purpose is to enjoy yourself. So Louis like, surely you can't believe that's all there is to life, babe. And he's like, listen, I don't think we need to be killing people, you know, like we can survive off animals and other things. And Lestat is like, you think I just here to survive? He say, why you think I want to be the walking dead just so I could be out here doing the easily attainable eating, riding thing? And Louis was like, what about all these people you admire, all these greats, all these artists, all these poets? Don't they deserve to be spared from the randomness of killing? Like, why we don't, you know, kill wicked people? In other words, Louis decided he won't be the Dexter of the vampire world. Let's only kill the bad, the serial killers, white supremacists. And listen, I like that. Louis is beyond to something. I really like how Louis has used his vampiredom to get the white man back in blood, and I love it. I don't know how we factor in how many points we take off because he be laid up in a coffin next to the white devil himself. But whatever. So they having this conversation as they walk in. Louis talking about, oh, you know, they should kill the bad. And they start listening to people's thoughts. When Louis hear a white man being a piece of shit white man, he says, what about him? Let's kill him. So Lestat ain't waste a second. Immediately go cripple the man. Say, okay, come kill him. You know, Louis don't like how Lestat is carry on all the extra flair to killing people. He just feel bad. So then instead of going to go drink from the man, he grabs a nearby cat. And let me tell you something. Both me and Lestat were upset. Because why the cat, man? What the cat? I say, Lord, you see, I hate to be a white person about this, acting like animals' lives are more superior to human lives. And I'm not saying that, but I'm saying a cat's life to a racist white guy's life. Let the cat live. Like, let the cat live. So then from there, we see them at the Azalea, and now Lestat, hot. Lestat is sitting up there. He upset. He dead upset. You don't want to kill people and you insist on doing all this human shit with this business. So he's sitting there foaming at the mouth, right? Immediately, you know, staring at this gal who on the stage singing. Her name is Antoinette. We can get back to her. So Lestat dad mad. He could say to Louis, I'm mad because you ashamed of what we are. Like, you ashamed of what you are, right? Louis is like, listen, I don't want to kill people. There, I said it. And he was like, dog, you're a vampire. That's what you are. And Louis is like, oh, Jesus Christ, don't say the B-word out here in public in my business, man. And Lestat was like, your business, these illusions. Louis was like, that illusion is paying for plenty people and plenty businesses and keeping a lot of people. That illusion is putting a lot of people on. And Lestat is like, oh, look at you, the Dark Prince. Oh, for every 20 people you kill, you will save one small businessman, so you didn't use people. Oh. So from there, Lestat then obsessed. So now Lestat decides to start harassing the black man pianist on stage. He's like, oh, you dead. You've been playing shitty for weeks. Blah, blah, blah. He get up. And as he get up to go harass this man on the stage, Louis jumps up. Louis is like, this ain't your kind of music. In other words, white man, I don't really... Because, listen, you could go date your white man, like, whatever. But Louis, like, I feel for Louis, because it's like, that's his white man, but he couldn't help the fact how it felt to see this white man just attacking this black man's music, like, But then Lestat get up, jump up on stage, then he start playing white people music, only to immediately show them, like, oh, not only can I do my white people thing, I can do y'all thing too. And he starts playing music too, and now everybody all excited. Louis eventually admit that there was actually no problem with the guys. I think his name was Jelly Roll. There was no problem with Jelly Roll's music that night. His playing, he had overheard that Jelly Roll was planning to leave him up and high and dry, so he was upset on behalf of Louis, and that's why he do that. So then, as he telling the, remember Louis telling the story, Daniel Malloy is like, wait, you trying to say that this Lestat is who created the Wolverine blues? And Louis was like, I think so. You know, I can't be sure about the particular details. So that's when Daniel Malloy is like, oh my God, okay, I have to call you on some things, because these things ain't adding up. And Louis is like, dog, like, forgive me if I can't get all the little details right, or if they switch up. And Daniel Malloy is like, no, this ain't about the little details. This is about the whole abuse, psychological romance of it all. Like, meanwhile, Louis is like, abused? I don't consider myself nobody's abused. I'm nobody's victim. And Malloy ain't even checking for him. He's like, listen, sometimes he was like, usually when people are too close to it, when an abused person is too close to the situation, that's when they paint it out like, you know, a love story and they still love their abuser. But you flipped that completely on his head, because you, when we were closer to the time period you was with this, that's when you was talking about him like a dog. See, let me play for you the audio notes and you see how you was talking about him. And now you here talking like there's some kind of gothic romance and shit. Like what the is it? He play him like in 1973, this you telling me and shit. Then in 2022, this you telling me you love him. Then the other day in San Francisco, this you telling me and shit again. Then the other day in Dubai, you telling me you love him. Now you telling me to write the Wolverine blues, which is it? And Louis was like, oh, okay. So we keep receipts now. Okay. So he pull up Daniel Malloy book and he read him a story where Daniel Malloy was telling a story about a Buick, only to be told by his wife that can't be true because he never even owned a Buick. And Malloy was like, this is what you call like the Odyssey of recollection. So then Louis goes, allow me my Odyssey of recollection, okay? This 50 years later, this is my more nuanced portrait. Cut me some slack. And Malloy said, okay, point proven, you got me. So then he throw away all the old tapes and he delete all the old tapes and footage off his computer. And let me tell you something right now, it wasn't gonna be me. Was not gonna be me. You think a vampire could harass me on and off for 50 fucking years, making me interview him, and he's stressing me out and he's attacked me and stuff, and I don't have an entire paper trail? No sir, and deleting all my hard work? No sir, not. No sorry Bob, not. No sir, not me. Now Louis is giving up. He tell y'all he ain't killing people no more. He getting his blood from rats and dogs and cats and all that, right? So he says libido low. And in the course of that, remember the Jelly Roll man did leave him high and dry, and so Lestat had been taking over for him at the club. And in the course of that, Lestat started fucking the gal, the white woman Antoinette that's to sing. I say, let me tell you something. Imagine a man prey on you, a supernatural creature. Imagine the white devil himself prey on you. Decide he's so pressed for you that he need you to die and become immortal so he could spend the rest of his life with you, whether you want to or not. He do that and he still cheat on you with a bitch. I say no. Let me tell you.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Aaron, don't even speed it up. Don't even cut out the pause, because y'all need to see my face. I say can't be serious. Cannot be serious. So Lestat, and not only is Lestat gal in Louis' house in front of Louis. And so the gal is like, I'm so confused. You know, I'd heard things. And Louis was like, and Lestat was like, oh yeah, what you hear about us? What they be saying about us? She was like, I don't want to gossip, but let me just say, like, y'all have one bed or two beds upstairs. And Louis was like, don't worry about what's going on upstairs. You can't go up there. And she was like, oh, I have my answer. And then quick as that though, Lestat out here, dick hard, trying to so she's like, yeah, y'all, yeah, no. And Lestat was like, baby, why are you trying to confine me to one chord? He say, I play plenty notes. In other words, I am bi. And so she was like, oh, me too. I like plenty things too. I like some men with soft hands. I like some with complexions over there. Meanwhile, Louis over there, Louis don't like bitches none at all. I say, babe. Oh. So at this point, Louis storm out the house, like, go on, enjoy yourself, right? Like, life but enjoying yourself, right? And go on, that's out. When Louis come back, Lestat is like standing next to some a body he done burn, and so Louis is like, she's take long to burn or no? Lestat is like, oh no, I didn't kill her. And because you know Lestat don't kill talented artists because he think the gal actually could sing. That's the only thing that saved her life. So he say he kill a dentist. So then from there, Louis say to Lestat, Louis asked Lestat, aren't I enough? Y'all believe this Lestat burst out laughing? I mean, burst out. He do a Aaron, you have to put the laugh in because he really carry on too bad. Big laugh. And Louis like, no, don't laugh at me. And like, let me tell you something. That Lestat was like, oh, like laughing, like, oh, you still a little bit of rat on your mouth. Louis was like, don't play with me. And he was like, listen, we could spend, we have the rest of our life. We have a lifetime together. We could spend 10,000 nights together if we want to, you know, do other things. He was like, if we want to other people and do other things just so that we can, you know, thwart off the dullness and monotony of life and wrong with that. And I was like, the dullness, the monotony, other people. What the? You killed this to be with him? Well, when you was in the church ranting and raving and murdering priests and insisting y'all spend life together, I do not remember you saying you wanted an open relationship. That's so crazy. Let me slam a man on the day when I going to get married. See? That's so crazy. And as he's saying this, Louis is like, dog, I could smell this bitch on you. And Lestat could say, you know, from time to time, I like a little variety. I say, no, so what is this? What is this? What is this? Because let me tell you, listen.
Brother, what's that?
No. I say, let me tell you, as a bisexual myself, ain't no problem with that. Now it is a problem. It's murdering a nigga in the church under the explicit premise of spending eternity together with each other. Because he wasn't screaming at him like, oh, you can't even be out. You can't even live your truth. You can't even this, that. You specifically sold this man on a gay ass eternity together. Now you out here bitches? You bringing bitches to the crib? No. No, sir. No. Louis said, oh, okay, so I can anybody I want. And Lestat was like, of course. Let me tell you something, just like in this Lestat. Of course you could but you know, as long as you come home to me. I say, look at jealous at the start. Watch don't never want. Hey, watch. Okay, so now when we next be at the Azalea, two things are happening. Louis is playing the card game with all the racist white men that he's usually with, right? Now the main racist white man, Fenwick, alderman. This man, right? So they done pass an ordinance. Basically, they trying to run Louis out of business. They trying to force him to have to end up closing his doors. At this point, he's found like a little way around it. He gave all the girls at his brothel, some like part ownership and stuff to basically, you know, give them some different kind of rights they could challenge in court. But the white man, all these white men he playing these games with, literally sitting there talking, cracking jokes, but how they planning to find more ways to keep finding ways around it. This alderman man, this Fenwick, a real bitch ass. As all this is happening, and Louis making it very clear to these, like, I serious, you know, this Fenwick, oh, you know, we just chasing race stuff right now because we stalling because of the war and stuff. And Louis like, listen, I don't care about none of that. I don't feel like no stalling. It feel like a boot on my neck. And then from there, right as Louis winning the card game, that's when one of his girls come to say, oh, there's a man here for you, right? And I thought this was also interesting. As he went in the card game, Fenwick and them was like, oh, I will say I miss the days where you used to let us win when there was deference. These white men cannot stand that Louis coming up. They cannot stand to see him doing well, much less doing better than them and not going out of his way to be humble and make himself small. Oh, these white men can't stand it. And I love to see it, yeah? Anyway, they called to come let him know a little sweet thing down there for him. Jonah. So we meet Jonah. Jonah is home from the war, and apparently Jonah and Louis used to have a thing back in the day when they was young. Louis say when Jonah was 16, and Louis said he was 16 and I was older. And I'm like, now, hold on, Louis. How much is older? Louis, because I want to like you, I ain't gonna let that ride, but I want you to know, I heard that. I did hear that. But any older? What's older? 18 or worse. What's going on? Anyways, him and Jonah making all kind of eyes at each other. Let me tell you something. The chemistry, y'all listen, all the Lestat groupies, fight me with your big gun. Because the chemistry between Jonah and Louis, I say, look here. Lestat and Louis don't have the kind of chemistry that Jonah and Louis had. Because I was there like, oh, I like that. So Jonah was like, oh, but look at this place, man. Look what you got here. This looks so good or whatever. Da, 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 da. And Louis was like, oh, yeah? You like how this look? Wait till you see my pretty automobile. And so he drive him out to the bayou. And Lord, let me tell you something. You know how much you gotta want to get your dick wet to go get your dick wet in a bayou? In a wet, swampy bayou, I say. I listen, the whole time they was there, they just feel like the set, like the scene is snapped. Like just like this is where they toss bodies. I'd be scared. But him and Jonah go out to the bayou and he says, I have someone. And Jonah was like, oh, I figured some. I didn't see a ring on you. And he was like, not a woman. And he was like, okay. And he was like, so how is he? And Louis said, he's a lot. It's not perfect, but we have an agreement. And Jonah was like, the kind of agreement that lets you drive little down to the bayou. And he's like, exactly. Let me tell you, Jonah gone to go. Let me tell you something. Louis fine. Louis is fine. I ain't gonna take that from him. Louis is fine. And the chemistry between him and Jonah, off the charts. But getting on your knees in the swamp, in the bayou, you sucking dick in the bayou is crazy. That's crazy. In the dead of night, crazy. Look, yo, as soon as Louis go home, here go Lestat questioning him. Like, Lestat like, oh, okay. So what you was doing? And Louis is like, oh my God. He came looking for me, you know. He went to my old house looking for me and Grace told him where to find me. And Lestat is like, oh, okay. And then Louis is like, so how's Antoinette? How's your bitch? You remember the bitch you been f***ing? Oh, right. Lestat was like, tedious. I don't think that'll be happening anymore. These affairs always flame out. And that's funny. You was happily and merrily for nights and nights and nights. Now the minute Louis go and get him a little, now it flamed out. Now you don't see that happening again. I say, look at him. So then Lestat asked Louis if he want to go out tomorrow night. And so Lestat done feeling extra insecure clearly. And then Louis say, no, I have plans to go out to go by the house tomorrow night to go, keep up appearances, go see Grace and the kids for the kids' birthday. And as Louis saying this and getting ready to go to bed, he noticed from the corner of his eyes, Lestat's shoes looking muddy. But he couldn't say for sure in his mind whether or not Lestat's shoes was muddy. It's New Orleans. It could have been like, it could have rained in the quarter. I don't know. It don't necessarily mean he went to the bayou, but he was suspicious. And Malloy did ask him about it, and it was like, again, the Odyssey of recollection. And then Louis did say to him, I did end up running into Jonah decades later. And Malloy say, yeah. And what did he say when you were young and he wasn't? And Louis say, he said pretty much what they all end up saying in one way or the other. Devil, demon, Satan. And in the next scene we see when Louis goes to go over to the house the next day, Lord, every time Louis go see his family, all my blood pressure is raising all. Soon as Louis get to the house, his bitch ass mommy in the yard. And matter of fact, even before his bitch ass mommy come in the yard, Grace's little daughter's in the yard, and as soon as he come in the yard, they scream at the top of their lungs and they gone running like, hurry, yes. Let me ask you something. Even if we know Louis is a vampire, right? We know Louis is a vampire. But what has Louis done to them for them to know he's a vampire, to be scared of him, to justify that shit? Like, what has he done? What has he done to them? He don't come around. He stay with his white man and he pays all of their bills. Ain't that something? They was like, the mommy come in the yard like, oh, you weren't invited around here. Because he was like, oh, it seemed like my invitation got lost in the mail. And she was like, oh, you need to come around today. And I think that's so funny to me that they too scared of you to invite you. Like, they too scared of you to invite you over or for you to come hail up the family. But they're not so scared that they could take your money to pay their bills. And they're not so scared that they could have hard milk with you. Ain't that something? Because imagine if I was really scared of a vampire, I'd probably have less of a attitude, no? Because his mommy still seems to have no problem being a bitch. Let me tell you something, couldn't be me. Bloodshed in the whole house. Because, so his mommy talking big shit in the yard as he trying to get past her, looking dead good, by the way. He was in one red suit and these red shades. I mean, Anyway, he trying to get past her. And his the brother-in-law, Grace's husband, otherwise known as not his mommy's real child, just step in to like stop him from getting in the house. And she who trying to throw her son out the yard, she can call this boy, oh, that she referring to the son-in-law's son. I say, babe, I hate this bitch, but this old so he trying to get in, this keep trying to stop him or whatever, which causing him to get riled up. They all up in the way or whatever. And so when he go, get past him and kick the door gone flying because he's a vampire. He ain't know his strength. And Grace standing there with the two children knocking, all dead scared. And then they gone running and screaming. And then Grace is like, get out. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about me. Let me tell you something. Somebody could leave tonight. Somebody would have had to leave. But it wasn't gonna be me. It was gonna be whoever name ain't on the deed. They was getting the out. Or no, man. Y'all don't like me. Y'all don't like me as the devil. No problem. That ain't no problem. Get the out. Let me white devil man. Let's come live in here. Let's come fucking. They'd have been upset. If y'all don't leave, that's your problem. But I gotta have a coffin in every room. Like, they was really like, when I tell you they was dragging it, his mommy like, oh, you see, the devil walks at night. She grabbing this. I say, what is this? Let me tell you, he better than me, I would have gassed like the whole family. Because when Paul was telling everybody but the devil and he see the devil and what the devil say, they talking about they talking about Paul like a dog. Paul crazy, but now y'all allowed to think as the devil. I'd have gassed like the shit out of everybody. I'd have say, wow. And get a little bit of fashion sense and some colored contacts, and now I Satan. Wow, get a little bit of drip, and now I'm Satan. Ain't that some shit? From there, Louis, obviously, that's a terribly traumatic experience. So he rushed home, only to rush home in his house, lone noise, because Lestat done bring back literally an entire army worth of to his house. And Lestat making noise, he playing shoe tunes for all of them or whatever and being obnoxious. And Louis is like, get these people out my house. And so he get him out the house, which caused him a bunch of power. So he had to use a bunch of his vampire powers to get all them out the house. So he done bleeding from the air. And now he bleeding from the air and he irrationally and he upset, right? So when Louis is like, babe, what the is wrong with you? He's like, I'm a lot. I'm not perfect. And so Louis is like, oh, this. He said, I knew you was at the bayou listening. And he was like, yes. And Louis was like, are you serious? Are you jealous? And he was like, yes. And he was like, not you, always be bitches. And he was like, I don't have feelings for them. And Louis was like, feelings? I got some and he drove this home. And Lestat was like, I heard your heart's dancing. You pulled over to the road and drained the dog and ran down an alleyway for 2 more rats. This is no life.
Oh, boo-hoo. Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
I say, well, mother, I say, God forbid he refused to be a murderer and get his dick wet. Oh my God. God forbid Lestat. So anyway, Lestat let him know he bring all these men back from the Azalea because they cut off the electricity. These white men, the aldermen and them, Fenwick and them going out they way, close Louis down and stress Louis out. So now Louis hot. He mad. So now Louis, mind you, Lestat's still screaming and Lestat is like, this is not a life. Louis was like, because you took my life. You took my life. You literally took everything from me. I've lost it all. I've lost my brother. I've lost my family and I'm about to lose the only thing I have left, the Azalea. Shut the up. So from there, Louis goes to go talk to Fenwick and Tom Anderson about the situation. And let me tell you, and Lestat is there with him. And these white men sitting up in his face, laughing arrogantly, trying to pretend like they ain't just going after him because he's a meanwhile, he could read Fenwick's thoughts. So Fenwick's there like, oh, this tedious. He think cause he Creole at me and shit. And mind you, Fenwick saying shit to him like, oh, why don't you just go buy a property in the quarter? And Louis like, I can't buy a property in the quarter. And he's like, oh, let your white man Lestat here buy it. And he be the face of it. Meanwhile, Louis reading their mind, and he hear Fenwick mind saying that this was always the play, right? Is that Anderson robbed him on this place ages ago and sold it to him because he knew this was the plan. So then when Louis heard that, he literally leaned into the face and he say, Tom, did you sell me this place because you knew this was gonna happen? And here go racist ass Fenwick, like, hey, put a sir on that. And Louis ain't hearing shit. At this point, Louis like, hey, was that what the you intended to do? Fenwick was like, listen, I'll buy this property back from you, for 15 cents on a dollar. Let me tell you something. And Louis took that disrespect personally. So from this point, Louis mad. Louis mad. Louis mad, like, let me put a colored signs only sign on the door, mad. Then they start harassing him. They vandalizing the place. They doing all kind of stuff because they trying to run him out of business, right? And while all this is happening, Louis running hot. I want to remind you, he ain't been killing nobody, so he ain't getting no good blood. He upset. He ain't feeding. He hot. He mad. So he say, what? I got something for that ass. And as Malloy put it, Malloy say, let me tell you, there was 2 quotes that was dead hard. Like they was hard ass quotes that I had to write. Louis going through it, right? Like Louis done had his mummy cut him off, all of this. Like this whole episode is about Louis reflecting on what he is, like as a vampire, whether or not he's evil, how he should conduct himself, whatever. And then Louis said, quote, when your mother sees the devil in your eyes, it's a hard assessment to abandon. Am I from the devil? Is my very nature of the devil? I hedged against the question, but now it completely overwhelmed me. And then Malloy say, take a black man in America, make him a vampire, then with that vampire and see what comes with it. Look here. Louis pop up in Fenwick house. I mean, first of all, fresh to death. I mean, he ain't come half stepping, fresh to death. And he was just like this. like and he's sitting at me and ain't saying a word. And Fenwick, let me tell you, it's crazy to watch a white man talk himself to death, like literally talk himself into a death sentence. Like if Louis hadn't already come there to kill him, this man guarantee he had to die. I was writing down what the man was saying. It was so crazy, just so I could express the other level to which he deserved to get yoke up. He could say, you think I have a vendetta against your race? Well, think that if you must. Storyville is a sinking ship and your kind is the first to drown. That's your problem, Louis. You're arrogant. You haven't accepted your place in this world. And you and your paled lover with his endless supply of capital and your sodomite townhouse won't change it. You're a tiny man flying too close to the sun. And that's what I am, Louis. The sun. Walk away. It's crazy to watch a bitch ass talk crazy when you know he scared like a pussy because the man heart started beating. As he's saying this, his heart beating fast. It's crazy, babe. And Louis say, why your heart beating so fast, eh? And as Louis looking at the man, he's, I'm just one person on this council, this, that. Louis say, I bet you're thinking about how fortunate it is that your wife and your children are on here, right? Yeah, that is fortunate. When he say that, the man, Fenwick immediately shoot him 3 times. Which show you, by the way, how quick these white men is be to commit murder, eh? Shoots the man 3 times. And when that don't do nothing, let me tell you, this was so hard. Louis say, I'll let you reload. And as he going to go start scrambling, reload that gun, Louis come and tear his hair off. Louis say, I'm arrogant. Then he say, fuck it, maybe I'm arrogant. And this Fenwick was like, what are you? This set a vampire, yo. He tear that man up. And then after he tear him up, just like, let's bring it full circle, at the beginning of the episode when Lestat was telling him that white man's history about the square, what did Louis say? Did they tell you in that book they used to take the slaves' heads and pike it up on the gate? And so that's exactly what the he do. He carved that white man up, put his ass on the gates with a whites only sign. And then this would really kill me. As immediately, obviously, from their vengeance, they start burning down all the white people chaos. They burn down the Azalea. They burning up the entire black town, the black square, everywhere black people is, they torturing them, right? But while this is happening, Lestat is like, I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, I'm proud of you. It goes against much of my teachings, but look how you did that. Chef's kiss. Louis is like, I didn't do it for me. I did it for my people. He was like, I did it for my city. I did it for my people. This is what the they do. They destroy our businesses and then they buy the land for cheaper. And then Lestat is like, oh, you think you did this for your people? This gorge display and all of that violence, you think you did that for your people? No, you did it because you were vampire, because that's what we supposed to do. We supposed to do vampire. Shut the up. Are you not listening? No. He's literally doing exactly what the supernatural world. This ain't got shit to do about being supernatural. This is about focus for a second. He is telling you about the experience he been living and the experience he's still living as a vampire, and he's telling you without there being any supernatural powers, just regular men, just regular humans, this what the these white men is be doing to the in this same square, this where they was hanging head. So no, he's not doing it to this white man because he's a vampire, because this is y'all's nature, because blah blah blah, whatever stupid shit you want to come up with. Listen with your air, white man. He's doing it for... Lord, let me tell you something. Lestat has worked my nerves here. Like, let me tell you, he is so deliberately obtuse. I say, Lord, this couldn't be this guy. Louis, go get you a black man. And I'm like, dog, go talk to Jonah. Like, I don't know what this is. So then from there, Louis so tired of hearing this out too. And he was like, you see, this the reason why me and you ain't gonna never work out and you always could be alone. And he dusts out. And then he gone just stumbling through all like the black quarters, just watching people suffer, feeling bad. Like, damn, I caused this. They don't know that this is my fault, but that this is my fault. And so as he trying to figure it out, he could help. He hear a gal scream, a young girl crying for help. She is like locked in a fire, and that's obviously Claudia. That's what she could be named. And he go to save her. He was like, listen, I couldn't save the Azalea, I couldn't save Storyville, but I could save Claudia, and now it's my redemption. And so he saved her, and that's the end of the episode, y'all. This episode introduces us to my bitch. Actually, not even my bitch, that bitch, okay, Claudia. Instead of having this episode narrated through Louis, Malloy's actually reading Claudia's diaries, and he's hearing about, you know, the beginning years of their life via Claudia's recollection. And I can tell y'all right now, Malloy don't be on Claudia run, but I stand for Claudia's rights or wrongs, and most importantly, my bitch is never wrong. First of all, Claudia had plenty sense from jump, right? She opens up by talking about the fire that killed her auntie, and how she just waited for the fire to take her. And when she looked, she saw a black angel saving her. And she said a black angel take her back to, you know, where she thought, okay, the pain will pass. I could get ready to rejoin my mommy and all my other dead family soon. But she said instead, the pain passing and her going to heaven, it actually started to get worse. And by the time she looked, she was a blood-sucking demon, and who she thought was, she thought Louis was a black angel up until the white devil pop up, and then she realized, oh shit, these are demons. But let me tell you right now, Lestat wasn't with that from jump. Louis come home and bring in Lestat said, I know this ain't back to meddling in humans' business. This learn. He caused the fire, and now he coming home with a child. And Louis was like, please man. He save her. He begged him, and so he do it, right? But Lestat already wasn't into that. Now here's the thing about Claudia. Claudia immediately come, and I mean, she really is Louis and Lestat's love child, because Louis is her daddy. Like, she love up Louis, but what she take after Lestat is the love of blood. My gal is terror people. And like a real gangster, the first person she gonna and kill, Louis and Lestat gonna go take her to go eat one man in the park. And she look at him, and this Louis getting, oh, maybe she take after me, maybe she ain't into killing people. Quick as that. She does she takes after Lestat, but she also takes after Louis, because she goes and finds a soldier to kill, but she do it real Lestat-ish, like, let me sing and scare and learn, kill him, right? But that's very Louis. Let's kill the white establishment, right? She going to go kill this white soldier who was out here talking down to her because she's a little girl. So giving very Louis, but murking him up in glorious fashion. Also very Louis, you know, thinking about last episode's events, but also very Lestat. From the minute Claudia come into their life, Lestat immediately start feeling jealous and insecure. Because he make Louis and Claudia, he can't hear their thoughts, so they is be communicating to each other, and off rip, Lestat is like, none of that. There can't be no secrets in this family, which is funny, because all Lestat do is lie. So we start seeing the early years of Claudia's life with Louis and Lestat, right? While she's still an adolescent. She running around, my girl having insatiable hunger. She want murder everybody because she's stuck in her like teenage metabolism, since that's when they make her, and Lestat can't stand it. But Louis over there like, my daughter, my child. So she around the place murking the people. You're seeing she really likes to write. She be in her diary. She be all in the coffin with Louis and Lestat, keeping them up late. Lestat is one miserable, cantankerous. Jesus Christ, go to sleep. Every time she asks him too much questions, because she's be asking him plenty questions because she's smart. My girl's like, wait, so who made you? If you made us, who made you? And XYZ and yada yada yada. And Lestat don't never answer. And Claudius be like, Louis, you notice how you don't answer none of our questions? She is called Louis Daddy Lou, and she is called Lestat Uncle Les, right? And she was like, you notice Uncle Les don't answer none of our questions? You don't find that interesting? Like, y'all say there's no secrets, but he is keep plenty secrets. And Louis, ever the Lestat simp, is like, oh, Lestat is a lot older than us. You know, old people, they don't like, you know, revisiting the past sometimes. You should be careful where you pry. And she's like, So you say, interesting. So Louis, y'all know Louis is a simp. Louis got on my damn nerves, right? So when he tried to feed Claudia this, like, oh, you know, Lestat just old. Old people don't like to be asked a bunch of questions. You know, be careful what you ask him. And Claudia's like, so where he's be going when he go off alone? You ever notice that? You ever notice how he's be going places by himself? And this Louis, Louis can say, Louis is like, oh, you know, he likes to kill extravagantly, and he know I don't like to see it, so he goes off, you know, to you know, sort of be mindful of me. Very demure, very mindful. We could get back to it. But Louis is such a good parent to Claudia though, right? Because in this moment when they on the boat, I thought they had two like really profound conversations. Like, I'm not even being funny. When she asked him what's it like for two men to be in love? Like, how do two men love each other? And he was like, it's the same. It's the same as other folk, right? And I thought that was nice. I thought that was a very just like human element. And then two, he goes to go eat a fish. And when he goes to eat the fish, Claudia's like, ew, there's no way that you could like that. And he was like, I tried to. He was like, but it's not just about what you eat. It's also about how you do it. Even if you want to be somebody who has to eat people or kill people as a vampire, like you could do it quick and painless, or you could be a sick fucking bitch like your other daddy. It's up to you. It's up to you. But then he made sure to say, like, I'm not perfect. I'm saying this. I've gotten carried away before. In fact, me getting carried away with one of my kills was the result of, is what caused that fire that killed your auntie and took you. And I thought that was amazing, right? Because like normally I think in stories like this, you would expect that to be some kind of deep secret, especially with like, as it goes on, you realize like Claudia is a teenage girl who died and now is stuck in her teenage body and going through that. And so like as a vampire, she's very upset and she'll come to be resentful and stuff like that. But it said a lot about Louis that he still told Claudia, like he told Claudia up front, like, I caused this fire. He didn't keep that secret from her, and they had that right and open. Because you know, in Lestat, if it had been him, she didn't know. He'd have blamed somebody else for the fire and all. But you continue to see, you know, their little life together. Like, essentially montage you going through the years with them. And what was funny was when they gone to get Claudia her own coffin, right? They can't just walk in there and be like, we picking coffins because we vampires and that's what we sleep in. So Louis and Lestat cook up the story to give the funeral home man like, oh, you know, she only got a little bit more to live, so we trying to get a coffin for her to make it comfortable. But here go Claudia in the pink coffin like, wait, this is excellent. This is lit. The man was like, no man, something ain't right here. I think y'all should go. Quick as that they murdered a man. I say, well, Chuck, I like y'all did enough to kill that man. Like y'all did enough to kill him. So he thinks y'all are a little weird. Just, if anything, just rob him. Take the off and go. They murdered that poor man just for being a little concerned, just being a little perturbed. And I was that happy for Claudia though that she get that coffin, because before that, Louis and Lestat right next to her, they in the coffin next door. Imagine being a vampire, a teenage vampire with super vampire hearing, and your parents went in the coffin next to you. Girl, I say, Lord, I traumatized for her. Whenever we see Malloy in this episode, he's be bullying Louis' little assistant Rashid, right? He's like, when he next see Rashid, he see Rashid praying to Muhammad. He say, oh, you allowed to worship Muhammad? Muhammad know your God is a vampire? That cool with him? Islam fine with that, eh? and my boy was like, are you enjoying your reading? And Malloy was like, I mean, yeah, for a teenage serial killer, she's not half bad. Now, Louis bitch ass mummy die. And let's talk about this wake, because to disrespect up my blood pressure up right now, right? So they call Louis after they didn't call Louis to invite him to nothing in God knows how long, but they call to invite him to the wake, right? It's kill me at 8. They call to invite him to the wake only to be looking at him think the whole time. Like Louis ain't never do none of these people other than pay their bills, and they always seem to have a attitude, right? Louis, so they get to the wake. Louis, Lestat, and Claudia gone to the wake. Claudia standing up, like looking at the body, right? Grace and her bitch ass husband walk up to Claudia and they ask her like who she is or whatever, and she was like, oh, she's here with her daddy and her uncle. And that's when Louis come over and he was like, oh yes, like that's my daughter, right? Like, which she'd already told him and he already said, and then they could say, that's your daughter? Like, bitch, don't piss me off, right?
The audacity on that bitch is crazy.
And so then he was like, yes, I adopted off Liberty Street after the fires and did right by her. And Grace and this have the nerve to fix their mouth and be like, do you think like you and her uncle are the kind of people who should be adopting an orphan? And I'm like,
my disappointment is immeasurable.
What, bitch? Like,
and my day is ruined.
So And then, quick as that, then she could have the nerve to fix him out and say, don't bring them. Maybe you shouldn't bring them to the funeral tomorrow. And I'm like, what the is these people problem, babe? Like, you invite him. You know he with this white man, and now you just learn that's his child. You could say he ain't the kind of people that should be adopting an orphan, but you the kind of bitch that'll put an orphan out of a funeral for her Grammy. Like, what did she do to you? Like, what are they do? Like, what are they doing? Like, what are they doing to them? So then, in the same breath of just not trying to tell him don't bring his child and his husband to the damn funeral, they have the nerve with all the contempt to be like, let's talk about the house, which is the real reason they invite him. They didn't truly invite him to the wake because his mummy died or because they give a about him. They invite him because they want something, and they still being rude and talking to him with contempt. So they could say, we want you to sell us the house and we can't pay what it's worth and you don't need the money.
The audacity on that bitch is crazy.
Let me tell you something. I keep saying it. I've said it before. I can say it again. Louis better than me because they would have been homeless. How you figure? You bring me, oh, I don't need the money. I don't need my money. Oh, are you figure? Oh, no, sir. You couldn't, listen, could not have been me. So then they keep having hard mouth with him. And Louis was like, let me just let y'all know. Let me remind y'all. You remember what I did to that off? Don't cause me to break y'all head off. Mind yourself. Then Lestat and Claudia come over like, can we go? Like, this place is literally the ghetto. And Louis still agreed to sell them the house. And I wish Louis, like, I really don't like how Louis is like, people eternally play with him, you know. Like, they wasn't getting that house. I promise you, they would have been walking down Liberty Street looking for $1 in a dream. I promise you that. Claudia don't love Lestat as much as she love Louis, right? Like I say, Louis is her daddy and Lestat is her uncle, but what she do really bond with him about is they like to kill, you know? So Lestat and Claudia gone off on their own, and Lestat take her to go kill this young couple. So they gone and massacre this young couple together. Listen, I love my bitch Claudia, and I stand with her for everything. But the way she roll up on them people like a little doll, being dead, scary. But this young couple was right when they going to kill them, right? And so when she see that, that's kind of like her first like recognition, like, oh shit, I'm like, I could be sexual. I haven't had sex. I haven't had these experiences. So from there, she was immediately like, oh, I've been like, I'm 18 and I'm still dressed like a little girl. Like, and then immediately she gonna go kill some gal by the speakeasy so she could take all the gal clothes. But then as she walking down the street feeling dead good about herself, here go these racist white bitches across the street talking shit. Like, it ain't bad enough already, like that these racist white people could say whatever they want to them in this time period, but she could read their mind. So she had him and she gonna get upset. And you know, when Claudia gets upset, Claudia kills. So immediately fangs out. But when she put her fangs out, the horse that was coming up gets scared and that distract her for a second. And then the boy who's on the horse going to like protect her. And it was this little cute boy named Charlie. And from that minute on, she trip off of Charlie. But Lord, I ain't even gonna waste y'all time because let me tell you how that gone. All right, her and Charlie was dead cute for all of the 5 minutes before she and Charlie stopped making out. My girl get carried away, and what you think happened? She drained him dry. Now, when she drained him dry, obviously big trauma. She takes him home. She's like panicking, screaming, begging Lestat to like change him, save him, make him a vampire too. But Lestat is like, we can't make him a vampire. You kill him, he's dead. And like when I tell you Lestat stopped being cold as my girl is crying. She is like, imagine your first little crush. You go lose your virginity and you murk him, right? Lestat couldn't get. When I tell you Lestat, they're giggling. The girl traumatized. Lestat is like, go clean up after yourself. Go incinerate him. And then he go and make her watch him in the incinerator. He was like, watch him melt, and that'll teach you to stay out of human affairs. And I'm like, that's crazy. She ain't allowed to like a human. But what was Louis? A human. Was Louis not a human? And who does Lestat cheat on Louis with? Antoinette, a whole human bitch. I'm telling you, let me tell you something about the white man. Not the white man, the white devil. The hypocrisy is never ending. So he be dead cold with Claudia, and I'm telling you, that was the moment. I could tell you all the different moments that Lestat became Claudia's enemy, okay? That's the moment Claudia stopped with Lestat. When he decided to be a cold piece of shit over Charlie, Claudia say, okay, I don't with this. Back with Malloy and them, we finally see Louis for the episode, right? Louis come out and he's like, oh, how are you enjoying the diaries? And like, Malloy is like, I mean, yes, given very much so Stephen King meets Anne Frank. Like, yes, your little serial killer daughter can write. Like, Malloy was like, but actually, like, let's worry about your daughter's writing abilities later. Let me ask you something. Where the f were these diaries back in 1973, hun? And Louis was like, they were scattered, you know, some in Paris, some in such a place, some in such a place. Malloy was like, talk, okay? Talk. I don't believe you. Where the diaries? And Louis was like, if you happen to stumble upon your child's diaries and realize all the ways you failed as a father, would you just like, I don't know, give it to some young piece of shit reporter? Like, no, perhaps you wouldn't. And I'm just like, and Malloy accept that answer from him, but I'm just like, Louis, no one put a gun to your head and told you you had to pick this random reporter and tell all your business. That's you deciding to do that. You voluntarily taken on this undertaking. So if he's good enough for you to tell your whole life story and confess your whole vampire-y, gothic trauma bond and all this shit, with that boy, shut up. But listen, when I tell you the girl who's played Claudia is be acting down. Louis is like, from the minute Charlie died, that ushered in like the darkest era of their lives, right? Like, but when I tell you Claudia start acting, she gives us a little monologue at the end of the episode. Let me try. I did write some of it, man, because it really was so hard. Like, just the way she was doing it, I feel like, Aaron, you just gotta put her on screen and y'all just see how she's in the coffin, like just doing all these emotions while Lestat and Louis rowing about Lestat being a piece of shit towards her over Charlie dying, right? But she's giving this little monologue and she was like, well, let me see it. She writing to the diary and she's like, you would think a girl whose mama died in childbirth, whose daddy gave her away to a mean old auntie who died in a fire but came back by the blood magic of 2 demons, you think that girl wouldn't know how to laugh, but you'd be wrong. And if I told you that same girl was being raised by her demon parents to take 2 souls a day so she could stay in the same flat-chested 14-year-old baby doll body as her mind and spirit continued to age, I'd bet you say, how does she even get up in the morning? But I'm doing just fine because the first man I killed called me the devil, and the last boy I killed and the last man I'll ever love in this earth called me an angel. So that means I'm on the right path. There's so much more fun to have. I'm just getting started. And my girl put her hand in the sun to burn because she's a bitch who like to live on the edge. Let me tell you something. I love Claudia and I love her in every era. Like this little like, and let me tell you, the actress, like when I tell you that actress deserve a award, because in this episode, right, it's basically like the early years with Claudia, right? Like we get her seeming like in her truest, like youngest adolescent, wild all over the place, right? And then in the next episode 5, we're gonna get her in like her like still kind of in that, you know what I mean? Still kind of like wild and trying to figure herself out or whatever, and then getting like older and more mature and coming back, and like you feel that it feels like this girl like actually aging, even though it's the same actress, same this, like she's giving that. And then in the next episodes, like my girl is a fully formed, like this bitch run shit, like she just, I love Claudia down. Let me tell you, Malloy is so funny. This episode opens up with Malloy just being blown away. First of all, Malloy has started having these dreams about the first night that he met Louis, right? And he's like, every time, like right before he get ready to go back with Louis, he's wake up in the dream, right? And that could be important. Now, the episode opens up with Malloy looking at Louis drink from Rashid, and he looking at him like, with the side eye, like, And Malloy always looking at Rashid like the side eye, like, you here just being a groupie to a vampire, and that is puzzling, okay? So I'm watching you. And then Malloy is reading Claudia's diary that's just all of her victims' last words, and he's just like, he looking at them like, just reading out the last words, like, there ain't anything more up than this, like y'all give me this to read. And Rashid, their groupie bitch, is like, how is it any different than what you do? And Malloy is like, excuse me, huh? How is it any more different than what I do? I don't remember being a vampire who was killed people and logged their last words. Like, you remember that? And Rashid was like, well, what do you call what this is? Right now, when you publish this book, all the vampires gonna come and they're gonna fucking murder Louis. You are writing and documenting a vampire suicide story. Same thing. And I'm like, reaching. That's what we call a reach. But that being said, I'm on Claudia's side, all right? Claudia could log their last words, their first words, their third words, whatever the she want to do. That's my bitch, and I'm gonna stick beside her. I tell y'all I'm a lawyer giving Rashid the side eye, right? So he ain't saying nothing, but Louis reading his mind. And so Louis like, oh, I'll tell you what he tastes like. Oh, I'll tell you how much he weighs. I'll tell you all of this. And the reason why is Malloy thinking to himself, man, I did just see one big Louis drink from him and that fall out. But this getting drink like a hoe. And he's straight. Puzzling. He ain't fall out. Interesting. Now, when we get back to the past, Claudia is causing them all kind of stress. Like, she is being rebellious teenage shit, but because she's a vampire, her rebellious teenage shit is be like Dexter. Like Dexter when he was, what it was, the Bay Harbor Butcher, when he had all the bodies floating. That's exactly how Claudia giving it up, right? Check stock. Louis have it in his heart. Louis think that Claudia on a hunger strike. He's so worried that she depressed because of Charlie, and he out there, he thinks she in her coffin barricaded because she depressed, and so he there bringing all kind of pigeons into the house for her to eat, right? And all the birds just flopping around the room because she ain't eating none. So he go over to Lestat like, oh my God, oh Lord, she ain't eating. I dead worried. Oh God, what if she starve herself to death? And Lestat is like, oh, give me a fucking break. That girl is not starving herself. He's like, trust me, every time we fucking turn our back, she's sneaking out the house and murdering niggas, okay? She's dining out. And Louis was like, no, I ain't think so. This is all your fault. If you wasn't so mean about Charlie, Lestat say, God fucking damn it. He storm off to the room and he throw her coffin off the hinges, and sure enough, she's not there because Claudia is in fact out murdering. Literally, as this is happening, Claudia out murdering some old man, asking it, and the old man is like, oh Lord, what month it is? She say January. The man say, I thought I'd go in July. Claudia come back home. When she come back home, when I say they so dramatic, she gotta go get in her coffin. Lestat in there jump out. She said, oh shit. Then Louis come and close the door, and they have her diary, and they're like, where you been killing people? Like, where all the people, right? And she's like, you read my diary? And Lestat is like, yes. And she was like, did you read all of them? And Louis was like, no, I didn't. Lestat said, yeah, but I did. I read all of them. And she was like, she gonna go scream at them and catch an attitude. So Lestat him up, and she was like, Louis, you gonna let him do this to me? And Lestat said, oh, no, don't ask him for no help. I read several passages aloud. You was talking shit with the two of us, okay? So get to talking, bitch. Where are the bodies? So she say, you better hope I learned how to come. They like, girl, I will slap the teeth out your mouth. Where are the bodies? She was like, man, shit, I buried them way out of town. Nobody will find them. And it was like, you know, this New Orleans, what you think can happen when there's the next storm? And sure enough, when there's the next storm, all the bodies float up, right? Literally 56 bodies float to the surface. When I tell y'all, Claudia been around the place murking. So then when you look, Anderson from back in the day, the same Anderson that did sell the property to Louis for the Azalea, knowing he was to get it back with the Azalea, knowing he was to get it back later. That called Lestat and Louis down as though he wanted a campaign donation. He getting ready to run for the House of Representatives. But what it really turned out is the police suspect them and Claudia of being behind the murders and stuff, so they wanted to get them away from the house so they could go search the house while laying there, right? And let me tell you something, when I say they took that personally, they freeze time right quick and the stop mock the ex like, count your days, I ain't gonna forget about you. So they get back to the crib and Claudia is there drunk as a skunk. She done let the whole, and listen, I say again, that's my bitch, and I'ma stand beside her. So Claudia drunk as she done let all the police in. All the police searching around the house, and Claudia right there drunk up on the couch letting all the police in, knowing she have a dead body and buzzards flying around the dead body in the room. Claudia ain't just murdering people, she taking souvenirs from all the bodies she done yuck up. And so she had to get upstairs, go search and get rid of the thing quick, and they just barely get the police out this house. And mind you, before literally when Louis gonna go tell the police, like, I'll be sure to put in a word of how y'all is fucking treat tax-paying, law-abiding citizens. And it was like, excuse me, not the homosexuals trying to report us. You don't make me report you, nigga, actually. And I was like, Lord, Louis, don't listen. Imagine you was a vampire. You literally in the afterlife still got to deal with regular homophobia and racism. I know Louis be tired. Tired. So then they going to go start rowing Claudia, right? Like, all Claudia got all these souvenirs, like all this, and they're like, dog, do you understand if the police arrest us, all us would be dead by fucking morning if we were to spend one night without the coffins in the jail cell. But Claudia ain't hearing nothing. She just screaming. She being, listen, Claudia is an adolescent, a young girl at this point. This how Lestat is communicating on a regular basis. Lestat, my girl Claudia, is just a girl. She ain't hearing them because basically she started screaming. She was like, dog, which one of y'all are gonna me? Like, y'all put me in a 14-year-old body. Y'all made me a vampire and stuck me in this way. I have to be a prepubescent gal for the rest of my days. And what we realize essentially is that Claudia has been going around trying to make her own partner, right? She's like, she wants somebody for her because who is she gonna be with? She was like, who's she supposed to be with? Little boys? Like, she can't be with grown men. She's supposed to be with grown men perverts. Nah, that's who could like this little girl. She can't be with little boys. She said, what happens when she get older? She's still supposed to be with little boys. So she dead stressed out. And she's like, and what's crazy is my girl stressed right out. Lestat couldn't give a lap. When I tell you my girl going through trauma and Lestat don't care, she was like, which one of y'all gonna me? Lestat was like, oh, I prefer fuller figures. That's a he like bony white bitches, and we'll get to it in about a second. So anyway, Claudia's dad upset because she been trying to make her a partner, but every time she's not able to turn them, right? They just been dying. And so she asked Lestat to make me one, and Lestat was like, oh, excuse me, you the last time I made a bitch, it was a mistake, so let's not, because that's what you are. And she was like, dog, word. When the stock called Claudia a mistake, Louis was like, yo, shut the up. And Claudia was like, but this is how he thinks about us. This is how he feels about it. And you was just let him treat us like shit. Like, what's up with that? And quick as that, and Lestat must he giggle like, oh, Claudia say, oh, okay. And she say, and you are cold, selfish son of a bitch. You deny me one love when you have two. When she say that, everybody say, excuse me, what, two? And she say, yeah, Daddy Lou, you think about, oh, he going out to go do his kills? No, that going across the Algiers to go be with that fucking flat ass skinny white bitch. And yes, Claudia did say her ass flat. I ain't say that. Claudia said that. And when you say that, let me tell you, Lestat was like, oh, I don't know if you remember, instantly Louis is like Antoinette. Y'all remember when he was dealing with Antoinette? And let me just say this, because I remember there was somebody in my comments being like, oh, have you never heard of an open relationship? And I'm like, do you know what a open relationship is? An open relationship is what two people agree to. If you in an exclusive committed relationship with somebody and you decide to start somebody else without their permission and consent, you can't just go then tell them, oh, it's an open relationship. That's called cheating. It's called being a controlling, manipulative, cheating bastard. And not for nothing, remember, he started with Antoinette. He didn't run that by Louis. He didn't ask for his consent or his feelings to be in an open relationship, and Louis has always expressed having a problem with that. He did that, and when Louis expressed having an issue with it, he don't like that, he just told him, this is how it's gonna be, this is what we're gonna do, we're gonna be together for like da 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 da. And then he acted like he giving Louis a pass to do the same because he wouldn't do what he want. But as soon as Louis get with Jonah, here he go tripping out like, oh, it was different. Louis got his dick sucked in the bayou one time, and Lestat was like, oh, it's different. Y'all's heart was dancing. I don't love her. Meanwhile, this years later, remember he did say after that, oh, these things fizzle out. That's gonna fizzle out. This flame is done. That's what he said with Antoinette. But he's still fucking here creeping with Antoinette. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. I ain't even gonna curse y'all Lestat apologists out right now. I ain't gonna curse y'all out right now, because at the end of the episode, I could curse y'all like a dog. Just get ready. So Claudia decides from there to leave. She packing up her things, she going, right? Louis tries to run behind her and try to stop her because listen, Louis love his daughter, okay? But Claudia is like upset. She's like resentful at this point, and she was like, dog, y'all are selfish. Why didn't you take me to the hospital? Why did you turn me into a vampire? And he was like, dog, you were barely breathing. She was like, but I was still fucking breathing. She's like, maybe I would have had a life, maybe I would have had a husband, maybe I had children, who knows? And you think about that. And Louis was like, dog, like I was just silent because I feel like, what could I say to her? She wasn't wrong. I created it out of selfishness and out of remorse, right? This is what he telling Malloy, and Malloy was like, if you don't play me song on the world's smallest violin, like, he was like, dog, I'm so sorry y'all didn't give enough hugs to y'all's serial killer teenage daughter. And Louis was like, is that all you think of her? Like, don't you understand? She was stuck in like the worst parts of puberty without a single friend her age every night for like a decade. Malloy was like, oh my God. Malloy said, one thing I could say, the only thing I could say is she makes y'all look like a bunch of fucking existential whiny ass queens, and these books can move, okay? He say, this bitch could sell books. He said, ooh, a serial killer teenage vampire? He say, I could be rich. And Louis was like, dog, don't exploit her. Like, I don't want people to like see her like that. He was like, I want you to give her proper context, you know? And Malloy was like, excuse, what context do you want me to give to kill a vampire girl? He said, let me tell you right now, once you put it out there, like, ain't nothing you could do about it. That's what people are gonna do. They're gonna receive it however they want. So cheapest you don't stress me out and continue telling the story, eh? After that, Louis goes back to narrating the story from here, right? Because Claudia is gone, so we have to narrate his life without Claudia by herself. And when I tell y'all, Louis is just depressed. From the minute Claudia left, that was his child. That's what gave him a reason for living. So he is depressed. He is resentful, and he's just waiting for Claudia to come back. He's just depressed in the house, like calling out to her, but she have her mind shut off to him. And this is like, he said it was no roaring 20s for them. He said they went underground for 7 years. That's how long Claudia was gone, right? Now, when we next see Claudia is on a college campus. Oh Lord, let me just I can go through this fast because this stressed me out there, and I ain't even gonna stress you all out. When we next see Claudia, she is on a college campus when some white boy go start right with her, right? Because he's like, oh, she look young and she's black, so he's just like, oh, fucking with her. And quick, and right when like this white guy seemed like he could be a problem, up pulls this white guy to like check that guy, and we instantly realize he's a vampire. And let me tell you something, I was hyped for Claudia for all of like 5-10 minutes. Like, I was like, yes, babe, Claudia finally, like, she could get her a boyfriend, she could get her like a vampire like that she could deal with, you know what I mean? Like, hype for my girl, like she discovered one. Why y'all think this vampire rape her? Like, he trick her like he was cool, like he take her back to a campfire and they think they exchanging stories, and all of a sudden this turn wicked, break her leg. And like, here's something that's really important. You can realize this particular episode, like episode 5, is what really make you, like, to me, separate Interview with a Vampire from every other vampire show I've ever watched. Like, every other vampire show, it has turned the vampires into almost like cartoons. Like, whatever injury that happened to them don't matter. They just be healing and thinking, no, sir, not an Interview with a Vampire. Like, they could break bones, all of this. Yeah, this vampire break her bone, and you realize he had been like, he hunted her. He had heard Louis calling out to her. She had her mind closed off so she couldn't hear it, but he was listening to vampires calling out, you know, and he heard Louis calling out to her, and so he basically hunted her down so he could break her leg and rape her. And I'm just like, what the fuck? You think about how sick and degenerate you have to be. You're a vampire. You're literally a vampire. If you wanted, even if you were a sick rapist or like force bitches to have sex with you as a vampire, you have the ability to coerce people, control their mind, think this, whatever. But he is choosing, like in humans, but he is choosing to hunt down a virgin vampire girl so that he could physically break her like leg and scare her and dominate and rape. That nigga, let me tell you something. They have to kill him. Like, I don't want this to be a one of like, I need that to get carve up season 2. If he don't get carve up season 2, somebody gotta see me. Somebody has to see me. After that, that could be the impetus for Claudia eventually returning back home, but not immediately, right? We still seeing Lestat and Louis in the house dealing with each other, and what I didn't think was funny, I just have to bring up this scene. I have to bring up this scene because it really give me life. Like, Louis is in the living room, and listen, when I tell you Louis let the place go, like, depression is serious. Like, they literally, like, they ain't just hoarding. The place don't just look like hoarder's ass. There's a live raccoon in the living room.
Hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
You know, think about that. Imagine you...
Huh?
A live raccoon. So anyway, Louis is sitting on the couch reading his book, and he going to go talk out loud, like, you know, say something to Lestat about the book he reading, and Lestat was like, oh, you sound like every pretentious college student, and Louis said, word? I'm sorry, should I be like you? Just read the first 10 pages of every book and pass myself off as cultured, you dumb bitch. And so they start rowing and going back and forth and all of that, right? And Louis to get a phone call from bitch ass Grace. And let me tell y'all something. I hate his sister Grace, you know. Like, I really hate Grace. I wish when I was calling her Gretna in the first recap and you're, oh, her name isn't Gretna. Her name is Grace. Her name is Grace. Grace. I should have kept calling her Gretna. Any how. This bitch could call him to the graveyard where she's done take it upon him herself to give him a tombstone and tell him like she moving away with her family, and this is what she telling them. This is how it has to be. She telling her family that he's dead. And I'm like, it's so crazy. Oh, you didn't feel the need to tell them to play like he was dead like this whole time while you've been living in New Orleans and still need him to financially support you. You didn't want him to play like he dead. You wasn't doing that. Grace make me sick. She really ended up being like a piece of shit sister. He was like, dog, it's still me, like, and she's like, you're not me, and you're not my brother. And I just was like, let me tell y'all something right now. If one of my sisters like become a vampire, like I'd be scared at first. Like, hold on, what's going on? Why your eyes purple? Why you look like that? You know? And by the time I realized, like, oh, okay, you a vampire? What you say? You say a gay vampires could kill you if you didn't agree to be their partner for the rest of eternity. Oh, okay. So now you stuck being a vampire. All right. You ain't gonna kill me? Okay. All right. Well, everything. You say you have plenty money. Oh, the other vampire plenty money. Okay, man. Yeah, man. You know what? All right, everything cool. We can see you at night. You know, plenty TV shows I like watching. Like, I am not. You think I falling out with my sister? Listen, these people on Grace. Grace. But anyway, as Grace decides he's dead to her, like she literally done took it upon herself to give him a plot. I say, and she leave Louis in the graveyard weeping. And that's when you realize Claudia had come back. She hadn't come back and revealed herself to them yet. She had just been watching them. She was like, I just followed Louis and Lestat around, like without really knowing why. I just felt compelled. But she said once she saw this moment, she realized like something she'd been pondering for so long, like why they made her, finally became clear to her, like to be Louis' sister. And I'm just like, you gotta be like, honestly, just a piece of shit sibling to like hurt your sibling. You know what I mean? Like to like intentionally see your sibling is cost that much pain. Like, anyway, I ain't even gonna get started on Grace. So once Claudia sees that, Claudia goes back to the house to Louis, and immediately Louis is like, he walks up to her, hugs Louis, immediately says thank you, crying like my boy was so happy. And let me tell you something, when I tell y'all Lestat literally come out, like jazz music was playing, Lestat come out and scratch the fucking record. Like he was like, scratch! Instant, like, he was like, oh, the prodigal daughter returns. Like, he was really looking at her like Scar. Like, he was really looking at her like fucking Scar. And she was like, and she come back trying to be like, I owe y'all both an apology. I was wilding out, but I've got my mind right now. I'm back. I'm sorry. And he was like, apology not accepted. And that's important. Remember that he didn't accept Claudia's apology for just being like a troublesome teenage daughter for vampires. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't accept Claudia's apology. Remember that. And Claudia was like, listen, anyway, like I've read all these books, I've been doing all this research on vampires and stuff like that at college. I realized what part of the world that vampires are at, you know, and I plan to head there. And the stop was like, oh, so just a quick stop to do some laundry and say bye. All right, now, and bless, carry your ass. And she was like, no. I come to get Louis. Louis, come with me. She say that, and Lestat took that shit personally. Lestat say, word? This bitch, you spent 1,000 nights mourning this bitch, and she come back and you ready to leave me? Oh, I know you lying. Listen, I don't even know if I could crack no jokes with you all the way, but to curse you all out right now. Lestat beat the ever-loving out of Louis. Like, beat the brakes off him. Like, he beat this nigga literally within an inch of his afterlife. Drag him by his neck, flew into the sky, and dropped Louis from the sky till he punctured his lung, and he shattered his bones. He gone blind in one eye. And like I say, this ain't True Blood or Twilight or Vampire Diaries or the originals. Louis was break up, like months and months and months of being up, like needing to learn how to walk again. And you mother had already watched this episode and y'all fix y'all mouth to be in my comments to me being a Lestat apologist? Are you out of your minds? I know y'all lying. I say, Aaron, you better have the scene of how this beating Louis behind me as I talk in this. Cause I say no. I know they know. I'm giving you and I can start y'all some.
My disappointment is immeasurable. And my day is ruined.
Let me tell you something. If there's anything, if there's any circumstance in your mind where you should have anything nice to say about a mother who will drop, you know what? And let me just say this before I even get to the next episode recap, before I even get there. For the amount of mother who's be like, I jump in the gun, but let me just say it now. Because for the amount of y'all that was like, oh, and I mean plenty of y'all. Lestat didn't kill Paul. Lestat didn't kill Paul. Lestat wouldn't kill Paul. And because Lestat say he wouldn't kill Paul is why? Lestat would have killed Louis. Lestat dropped Louis from the sky. Oh, and I ain't supposed to believe Lestat could have had something to do with Paul? Why? Because Lestat say so? Lestat and Anne Rice. Fuck what she tell y'all. Fuck all y'all. And listen, I want y'all to know, Lestat apologist, my big sister is a Lestat apologist too. And I told her today she's a sick bitch as well, and to get off my phone, being a sick motherfucker. Ooh, listen, I can't cuss y'all out enough. I cannot cuss y'all enough. Lord, let's go to episode 6. Dog, it's me thinking I was done ranting on this episode 5, and I'm not, because I forget. While Lestat is beating the dog shit out of Louis, he's screaming about, oh, how you never loved me, blah, 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 all of this, blah, 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 I chose you, you would never choose me, blah. I said, what the Let me tell you something. Nothing like the white devil to victimize himself out of no hell. This man cheating to this day, Antoinette, to this day, You talking about, oh, Louis was depressed because his daughter gone. That's a good reason to be depressed. And while that's happening, it ain't like you being faithful the whole time you this white bitch. The whole time. But you screaming about, oh, you didn't choose me. You never chose me. What more you want? You done took his mortal life. Now you have him stuck with you in immortality. And you still cheating on him. And you could beat the shit out of him and drop him from the sky? My blood pressure up. My blood, Lord, y'all has pissed me off, you know. I wish I could slap y'all the way Olay slapped the shit out of Louis when Louis go on and shake his hands, shake up his pockets. I even forget to mention that to y'all. Louis took the pages out of Claudia's diary where she discussed the rape in detail, and Malloy wanted to insist on reading them. He was like, Louis, when you editorialize like that, I can't trust what else you shoveling at me, and he keep insisting. And Louis is like, listen, and he fucking shake his hand. And listen, I all for Malloy. I understand Malloy is an old man and he's a gangster, so I support him slapping the shit out of Louis. However, I don't see why you feel like you need to read a vivid description of this little girl getting raped. I don't feel like you need that. Color me, I don't know. But anyway, fuck Lestat and fuck all the apologists. Y'all should subscribe to the Patreon. I put, for the people who want to hear me doing all my cursing, we put the uncensored versions of every recap on the Patreon. So do that. This episode opens with Louis literally mangled. I mean, blind in the eye, cannot walk, punctured lungs, shattered bones, and Claudia trying to rehabilitate him. And listen, Louis is so lucky that I'm a gal who's been in an abusive relationship before, so I truly understand. So that's the only reason he don't stress me out for the next 2 episodes on all the amount of just Lestat apologia and stuff he have, because I understand it. I have done it. I wasn't dropped from the sky, but still, so I get it. But Claudia ain't with shit at all, right? So Louis tells Malloy, and let me tell you, Malloy ain't with the shit neither. Like, Malloy is so funny this episode, because this whole episode, he's like bullying the doctor. There's a doctor there that Louis is brought to like treat Daniel Malloy, and Malloy is just like trying to put the doctors off the record, and Malloy just, oh, is this doctor here treating a vampire? And he just with him, right? And then as Louis starts his bullshit, he's like, oh, you know, Lestat had stayed away for a long time after that because, you know, he was so ashamed of what he'd done. Malloy's like, here he go, right? Like, so he's like, Lestat starts calling the house nonstop, but Claudia and Louis not taking his calls. Then eventually he starts showing up trying to give gifts. And let me tell you something. This Lestat really have some nerve, right? What's so funny is when he first pop up, Claudia's like, nobody wishes to speak to you. Get the around here. And he was like, oh, could you at least ask Louis? I know he's here. Let him decide for himself. Louis tossed his off and off the balcony. Like, there's your answer, right? Now, Malloy was like, so Louis, you don't think it's crazy that you was with this staff for 20 years and he ain't managed to tell you that he could fly? Why you think that is? How come you think that? Here go Louis. Boy, let me tell you, if one thing Louis could do is make an excuse for Lestat. Louis could say, oh, you know, perhaps he wanted us to feel like we were equal, so he didn't want me, you know, to know and feel inferior so that we could be close. Oh, Malloy, I couldn't roll hard enough. Malloy was like, oh, okay, officer. You know, he ain't a bad guy. He only beat me one time. Like, dog, what the mean? He wanted y'all to feel like equals. That man wanted to be able to bust your ass on a moment's notice, right? But Louis could say, oh, are we not more than our worst moments? Can we not forgive? How can we forgive ourselves if we can't forgive others? I say, oh, this Louis, right? So sure enough, let me tell you when Lestat really pissed me the off too. Louis and Claudia walking into town, right? Lestat could pop up with a car like, oh, I get you a car, and I got me a matching car back at home. And then he was like, I'm back in town permanently. And Claudia was like, back? You was gone, eh? And he was like, oh yeah, you know, across the river at Algiers, otherwise known as Antoinette House. This man doing all this acting like, oh, he's so alone, oh, he pining, and this, and the next thing, oh, he miss you so badly, and he's still with this bitch Antoinette. I say, listen, don't ask me cuss, right? And then I write it down. I write down the quote because it run me so hard, right? Lestat could say to Louis, I'm not that person anymore. I've changed. I'm nothing without you. I'm nothing without both of you. If you want me to go, I'll leave your life forever. I'll obey you. The silence is cruel, and you were never cruel, Louis. I say, imagine imagine somebody drag you by your neck after they just beat the dog shit out of you. Then they fly into the sky and drop you from the tippy top of the ozone layer. And then you don't answer them when they talking and they say, you cool? I'd shoot that in the middle of Liberty Street. Lestat. And let me tell you something. Thank God for Claudia, because Louis ready to fold. Immediately ready to fold. My girl Claudia's catch that. She tossed the car keys, scratched the car, and bring him. But of course, let me tell you how Louis has made me sick. I go run hard because Lestat could be sending Louis gifts for like the next 3 years? I think 3 years, 7 years is dead long. Like, they broken up for a while. I think it's 7 years. And Lestat is sending him gifts. All throughout that decade, Lestat send them so much gifts, and they just was burning them and giving them the silent treatment. They say they burn more gifts than bodies in that decade, right? And he was just ignoring all of Lestat gifts. But he say, oh, Lestat's persistence was wearing down on me. Because y'all know Louis soft, man. Anyway, so Lestat sends Louis an album that Lestat make. Lestat was like, oh, this the first recording he's made in a century. He only made one version of it, had the masters destroyed, and it's this perfect album for Louis, this love album. But this put Antoinette on the album. Bruh. And you know what? Don't make no, look here. Imagine somebody beat the dog shit out of you after they've been cheating on you and thing too for dead long. You break up with them. They've been begging for you back while still being with the gal they was cheating on you with. and they send you an album with the gal with their mistress singing on the track.
The audacity on that bitch is crazy.
Let me tell you something. I don't know why Louis don't get a gun and shoot Lestat. Like, shoot him, even if it ain't gonna kill him. Just get a couple rounds off. Listen, I can't stand that. But Louis literally jump in the river and swim across the river to get to Antoinette house where Lestat is in bed with her all naked. And like, oh, you so sad that Louis ain't take you back, but you in bed butt ass naked with your bitch. Don't piss me off, right? And so Louis come in there like, you had the nerve to send me an album with your mistress singing on. What the is wrong with you or whatever? And then Lestat is like, oh, you swim over here for me? You wet? Oh, that's so hot. Oh, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I over here like, and Antoinette in the bed like, get the out. Meanwhile, Lestat over there, deep in Louis' eye. And so Louis and Lestat there making eyes at each other. And then they toss Lestat, and Louis tell Antoinette to get the out of her house. And she gone on her porch, blanket wrapped around her, to go cry while her man, his husband, his estranged husband, in her bad. Let me tell you something. Antoinette is a sad gal. Sad bad. Girl, your pussy is trash. Like, oh my, could you imagine? Get put out your own house? Lord, get put out your own house. No, sir. So obviously Louis takes Lestat back. And Malloy is just as unimpressed as I am, child. And you know who's more unimpressed? Claudia. So when you next see is Claudia and Louis trying to lay house rules down for Lestat, right? So first things first, Claudia's like, let me let you know right now. She was like, oh no. She's like, I'm not your daughter. I'm not your niece. Like, I am your sister. Get with it. Or it ain't nothing else. And I'm only doing this for Louis, right? And then she's like, but the first thing she tell him, before she even tell him what the new family configuration could be, she say, you would kill that bitch Antoinette. Damn! And he was like, oh, you know, Antoinette, that's my private thing. She was like, hey, excuse me. Kill that bitch. And Lestat could try to be like, oh, Louis, you letting our child interfere in her parents' romantic affairs. Like, don't piss me off, Lestat. And Claudia's like, listen, one thing I can tell you right now, there could be no more secrets in this family. You could tell us everything that we want to know now. And Lestat have the nerve to get like indignant, like, oh, y'all really think I lied to you or whatever? I'm like, yes, the we do. So then immediately he was like, ask me whatever, ask me anything. And so the first thing Louis asked him is if he had anything to do with Paul's death. And Lestat have the nerve to be like, no, I would never, Louis. I would never hurt your brother. I would never hurt your brother. And let me tell you something. I wanted to put my foot up his ass and all y'all ass that act like I supposed to give a Lestat, he would never hurt him. I would never hurt your brother. Would make his brother special to him. He would hurt Louis. He just dropped Louis from the sky last episode, but I'm supposed to give a at Lestat being like, oh, what? I can't believe you think I would do some shit that I would definitely do. But y'all, again, y'all fat can rice. He did that shit. Y'all will never tell me no different. And even if he didn't do it, the point is, we have no reason to trust that. Everything about Lestat has shown us he will do whatever he can and manipulate and destroy and threaten anybody Louis gives a about in order to keep Louis in his life. Literally. We could get to it later on in the recap, this episode or the next, when he threatened Claudia. But if Lestat would kill and threaten Claudia, Louis' child, in order to keep, who is supposed to be his child too, to keep Louis, you think he give a about Louis' brother? Oh, but y'all, fuck y'all. Listen, tough. So anyway, there's that. Then they ask him how he was made, right? Like, who was his maker? And he said that he was made by Magnus. He say back in Mussy Paris, Europe, back in the day, he wake up that this vampire Magnus was Mussy killing and draining all kind of blonde haired, blue eyed guys. He had kept him locked. He had kept Lestat locked in the room full of those corpses that looked just like him for about a week, and he would drain and feed on him every night. And Lestat say he took him kicking and screaming. He didn't want this life, and he thought that he was gonna kill him, but eventually he turned him into a vampire instead, and he didn't give him no knowledge, no information and stuff stuff before just like, you know, giving him a pile of money and jumping into the fire. Oh, what was me? And Louis there like, my heart. And let me tell you something right now. I don't believe that crock of shit Lestat tell me. I don't believe none of that. Lestat is a manipulative bastard who's be trying to buy goodwill, which is why seconds later he was like, that's why I don't take, he said, and I was all alone when he left, and that's why I don't take kindly to being abandoned, because that's his slick way of trying to manipulate Louis to make Louis feel like, oh, that's what happened. I was triggered that you was trying to like leave me with Claudia, so like, you know, in a way it was your fault, because like, oh, you see, you hear my trauma, because like, unlike y'all who was made by me, who was able to like give y'all information and help y'all and stuff, I had this really traumatic story where Magnus took me without my will and I thought I was gonna die and they left me alone. Girl, let me tell you something. You can't swing a swinger. I don't believe shit Lestat have to say, and neither does Claudia. And thank God, because we know again, Louis soft. So from there, they in this house together living in misery, and it's only Claudia is like keep trying to tell Louis like, listen, this son of a bitch, it ain't gonna be long before he back to being on his manipulative and controlling shit, you know, this. So they living in the house dead miserably because Louis loved Claudia. He also loved Lestat, but he don't trust Lestat. And Lestat still cheating with Antoinette. Lestat brings up that Louis is make him feel judged because Louis don't eat people, right? Because he won't kill humans. And he's like, oh, it's like he think he better than everybody or whatever, right? Like, and Claudia agreed with this, and so Louis was like, oh shit, Claudia, you feel like this too? Okay, fine, I'll eat people, right? So let me tell you, so Lestat come home and give Claudia a newspaper that say Antoinette dead, and he give her Antoinette finger with her ring on it, right? Like, see, I did what you say. But let me tell you something, y'all think Lestat do what she say? That lying son of a bitch. Let me tell you, Antoinette is the saddest bitch I ever meet. I'm like, bae, she let this vampire, in order to continue to be the side bitch to Lestat, she cut her finger off so he could give his finger. I keep thinking to myself, like, Lestat, how she would have known what Antoinette finger is? He could have given any bitch finger. Why he had to, like, Antoinette really had to give up her finger just to play that, like Claudia was doing science and she didn't get an autopsy. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the she cut off her finger so she could play that Lestat. Think about that. This the Lestat that is be doing all this carrying on about Louis Oh, Louis can't even have a daughter in peace. This man refused to leave this Antoinette, and Antoinette there like running on and being like, you don't need them, choose me, blah blah blah. I was like, this girl is a real pathetic vagabond. And it's like, who you think you swinging, right? Claudia keep trying to make Louis see what the Lestat is. She's like, listen to me, you letting this, cause Louis have the nerve to come start like complaining, like trying to get Claudia to be nicer to Lestat, cause Lestat have the nerve to be complaining. He's like, oh, I'm tired of being humble and trying with her. She is stubborn, she's ridiculous. He even had the nerve, again, the Lestat who I want to remind y'all dropped Louis from the sky. That to say, oh, Claudia, since Claudia's been back for like there's a darkness in her.
What the fuck is you talking about?
I say this man ain't serious, yeah? So he complaining to Claudia, like, oh, you need to try harder, you need to this. Claudia's like, let me tell you something, you was one ass, you know. Like, this man tell you one little sob story, but oh, Magnus had him lock up in the room and immediately you ready to fold and you believe him. Like, she's like, look here, first and foremost, she's like, that baker probably somewhere chilling, he's probably a sous chef, okay? And then second of all, you think that kill Antoinette? Oh, okay, come follow me, and sure enough, after Lestat claimed, oh, they was all playing chess, right? And Lestat there thinking that he working Claudia real. Meanwhile, at this point in the show, Claudia's still letting Lestat think he ahead of her, right? And she communicating telepathically with Louis. And then once Lestat come out, he leaving to go hunting, and Louis like, oh, let me go with him. He's like, oh no, I won't go by myself. Oh yeah, he going right the Antoinette, and Claudia say come, and she show him. And you think what Louis say? He don't love her. You know, he don't love her. He just won't kill her because you told him, you know, to do it. It doesn't make a difference. He would leave her in a second if I would accept him as he is, and blah blah blah. And you know, I'm numb to him. Like, oh, there's no point in me telling him. I said, Lord, let me tell you something. Like, Louis, he not only does he not leave, he doesn't leave Lestat. He don't say nothing. They continue to let Lestat believe that they're none the wiser to the fact that Antoinette's still alive and he's still there creeping with Antoinette, right? But I want to go back to when Lestat and Claudia was playing chess, because she is be trying to expose him and she used to be making so much sense. Like, she gonna ask him about his old former lover, Nicholas, right? And he was like, oh, she was like, oh, did you love Nicholas more than Louis since you made him music too? Just like how you make Louis? You know, because she calling him out on game. And she was like, And she was like, so what happened to him? Did you kill him like how you killed Antoinette or how you tried to kill Louis? And he's like, no, Nicholas passed after me and him broke up. And I didn't try to be with another person. I wasn't with anybody else for another century. And I was like, let me tell you something. Lestat can suck my dick. You can't even be faithful to Louis right now. Right now, while he's alive. But you want me to believe that after you and a break up and he dead, you ain't gone with nobody else for another century. Suck my dick. Suck my dick. Lestat is a liar. And Claudia's know that, okay? And let me tell you, like I said, she's be letting Lestat think he have to drop on her in chest, right? And Lestat is like, oh, you know, because, you know, she's be there antagonizing him. So Lestat is like, oh, I don't even know why you so like play chess when, you know, you don't even have the acumen for this game. And Claudia can say, oh, I'm sorry. My master only taught me it well enough to like occupy his time, you know? And his master being Lestat, okay? Lestat is who teach you how to play chess. I say, yeah, get him. She see what he is. Listen, me and Claudia right here. Now, anyhow, like I say, Louis, Lestat, and Claudia live together miserably, like just tolerating each other for the sake of Louis, right? And Claudia keeps trying to convince Louis that they need to leave, like just leave Lestat and let's go. Like, she's like, she have a whole itinerary of places where she believe other vampires are and that they should go. And so her and Louis are sitting on the bench and she's like, Louis, let's go. Like the train leaves at this time. And Louis is like, you know, he can't go, like you go. And let me tell you, this moment is so sweet. Like, Louis love his daughter and I really love it. Louis is like, dog, you think you need me? Like, but what happened before is not gonna happen again. Like, you're smarter now. You could see trouble coming from a mile away. Like, you know, go. And he hugged her and like, it was so sweet. My poor bitch, yeah, because Claudia going on the train and she was so happy. Like, oh, she going. And let me tell y'all something. When I tell y'all Lestat show up like a horror show, he stopped this train, he murdered everybody on the train because Lestat done come to the conclusion that if Claudia leave again, Louis could be miserable. And I mean, not for nothing, he's probably not wrong. That don't make it right for him to do this shit, but he's not wrong because literally Louis was on the bench. Like, Louis was like, he was already so depressed, and the only thing that stopped him from not just sitting on the bench and letting himself like die in the sun in the morning was because he say Grace, but he said Grace's wedding night was ruined by Paul killing himself on the wedding night, so he didn't want to do that to Claudia on the anniversary of her escape. But child, you know, all that goodwill for no reason, because as soon as he get home, Claudia is there because Lestat done drag her back against her will. And that usher in the new day. Like, they back to the days of Lestat controlling them. Like, he think they is his slaves. They trapped there with him. And let me tell y'all, remember I told y'all, Charlie, Lestat being cold about Claudia missing killing Charlie was the day she stopped with him? Well, this day when he bring her back, that's when she decided that gotta die. That's the moment right there. And let me tell you something. Lestat didn't just get Claudia off this train. He take her off. He take off the head of the conductor, do a dramatic psycho like acting out with the head as he come in, and then he had gone already in her diary, gone in her business somehow, figure out exactly who raped her, and then he out here like weaponizing in front of her, telling her like, let me tell you something. Lestat and threatening to kill her. Lestat is a cold psycho son of a bitch, yeah? But I tell you, that usher in a new day. When I tell you, Claudia, like, she come into her own, like, I am grown, I am calculated, I am sinister, and this die. So when we next see, like, Claudia and Lestat playing chess, is different now. Claudia ain't saying nothing, and she's communicating to Louis telepathically, and she say, let me let you know something right now. I can kill this, you know, and you want me to kill him too. Trust me, that's what you want. And Louis like, oh no, you can't kill him. He ain't gonna be able to do that. And she's like, no, trust me. Ain't no trying. I can do it. And all the while, Lestat is talking big shit like he always talking while they playing chess, like he always doing. And this time, like, Claudia ain't saying nothing to him. Like before, she used to be saying something to him, antagonizing him while she was letting him win. And I do mean letting him win, because she tell Louis, say, listen to me. To beat Lestat, you gotta know Lestat and then be 5 steps ahead of him. And quick as that, she beat him in the game. When he realized like he about to lose, before she even do the last move, she just get up like, I'm going to bed. He was like, finish the game. She's like, good night now, my boy. Bug out. And let me tell you, Claudia, my girl, is that bitch. Okay, listen, I can't even say let's take it from the top, because we're not going to take it from the top of this season finale. We just going to walk you through my thoughts as I remember them. We're going to bullet point. We made your events and what's happening, and I'm just going to give you all my thoughts, okay? First of all, that episode opened with Malloy side-eyeing and throwing outright shade at Rashid, because at the end of the last episode, Malloy had been dreaming about the night that he met Louis, but he kept waking up right before he would go to Louis. And finally he finished the dream and he saw Rashid, and so that's when he realized like, oh, Rashid was there and the same age, so what's up? Rashid must use a vampire, and we can get back to that. Claudia has determined that she is going to kill Lestat. Like, that is her ultimate determination. She has told Louis that she's gonna do it, but she's not telling Louis her plan, but she's focused on that. A man comes to the house, right? Like, at this point, all the people in like New Orleans had you know, they think they vampires, at the very least they think they demons. There's something wrong with them, so they be leaving all kind of like voodoo dolls, Bibles, letters, all kind of stuff at the door, right? So a man comes to leave a letter to them, and they like yuck him in the house thinking that he was leaving like, you know, hate mail, and he was like, no, I'm not leaving hate mail. I'm an admirer, like I was, you know, coming, you know, for help from y'all. They kill the man. And I say, you see, that's what happens when you be out here hearing that people are demons and thinking maybe that's all right. Like, but quick as Lestat going to kill him and drink his blood, he spit it out, realized the man had cancer, and that's what his letter was. The man had cancer, he was dying, and so he was coming at him looking to see if they could help him, but child, all they did was speed up that man's demise. But anyway, Lestat say, oh dog, we getting dolls, letters, and all, and visitors all in one night. It's time to go. It's no longer safe for us to be in New Orleans. We gotta go. Meanwhile, that's all a part of Claudia's plan. Claudia send these people to the house, right? So then the next thing Claudia do is like she suggests to Lestat they should throw a party, right? Like, oh, they should throw a party on their last day. The way she tries to sell it to him is like, oh, I can't believe you, big bad Lestat, you wouldn't let these people just run you out of town quick as some like male models come to your door. You just ready to like, you know, tuck your tail in between your leg and go running out of the town. And he's like, this ain't about being scary. This is about being wise. Like, we've actually survived here much longer than you thought, you know? And she was like, okay, true. But like, we should still throw a party, you know what I mean? Like a big party and kill up all these people, you know? Mock them like they, you know, we shouldn't be mocking our victims. Isn't that what we do? And Lestat was like, no, but only no for now, right? So Claudia brings up the idea a couple more times, then, right? And Louis is like, Claudia, if you keep bringing up this party, Lestat is gonna get suspicious. And she's like, I want that get suspicious. Don't worry about me, okay? I got what I gotta do. I kill him. And Louis like, well, what's the plan? Tell me what's the plan. She say, don't worry about that. I ain't gonna tell you what the plan is. You just focus on distracting Lestat. You go can fall in love with him, do what you're supposed to do, and I will come pull you out at the last minute. And Louis like, oh no, you know, I don't want to do that, because if I fall in love with him, I could really fall. Claudia said, don't worry about that. Just leave a little space for me and I'll come pull you out. So eventually they get Lestat to agree to do the party, because they suggest like, oh, it should be a Mardi Gras ball and you should be king of the ball. You know Lestat ego. So they go to the Anderson to try to get Anderson to agree to let them be king of the Mardi Gras ball and redesign the Mardi Gras ball and the Mardi Gras float. At first Anderson is like, are you crazy? Like, who? Him? That? Dog fucker. Anderson is like, let me explain something to y'all. First of all, they've been planning the Mardi Gras parade for years out. I know that Louis, you know that. Like, act like you have sense. Like, second of all, let me show you a picture. Claudia, come look at this picture of your two homosexual interracial poppies. What's interesting about this picture in 1910, where these people in age of and she was like, you didn't have that funny X on your face at the time, right? Because this man want to remind you. Lestat mocked that. He mocked that from the time he helped swing them so the police could investigate the house. And so the man just laughed. And he was like, listen, you don't understand this, but the entire community thinks y'all a freak show ass. So ain't no way y'all could be the people. You could be king of this. And it was like, oh, okay, but we have money. You remember that? bub. So they're like, ain't you just had a ship get wrecked or something, and you have your little coffin business? Let us invest in that. We'll get you a new ship. And quick as that, money talks. That man, Selly draws immediately, like whatever you all want. Listen, I don't even have no time to do no long talks about this ball, right? And this parade and this float. Lestat dresses up. He's the king, and he be a whole weirdo. He look dead scary, and he like eats a fake baby on the float to scare the people, because Lestat. Okay, so then he's all at the ball, being the center of attention. Louis there being a simp, just all in love again. Antoinette is at the ball. She thinks she dead low. She out here like telepathically communicating to Louis right quick and thinking it's Claudia, right? So Louis trying to, find out the plan from Claudia. He's like, oh, what are you gonna do? What's the plan? And Claudia's like, I'm gonna poison. They communicating telepathically, right? Antoinette there, she listening. Claudia's like, shows him these two twin guys that she introduced to Lestat, and Lestat was dead into them, and she was like, I'm gonna spike their blood, and when he bite into them, he'll be dead, right? Cool. And then so they was picking different people at the party as they people to go back with them, telling them like, oh, we'll tell you the secret to like eternal youth or whatever, or immortality, right? If y'all come back with us. So they bring all the people, Anderson and a bunch of people, back to the crib. Listen, they don't gotta make this long. They massacre the people. Big massacre. They treat them and they're carrying on bad, right? Now, when they finally, the big final move, Claudia and Louis are waiting with the twins for Lestat, like, oh, we have them here for you, like, they have them here. We saved them just for you. And Lestat is all like suspicious of them, right? And then all of a sudden, he like hems up Claudia and Louis, and he's like, oh, y'all think I didn't know? And Antoinette comes in thinking she doing her big veil, like she's one loser here. I mean, a loser bitch. She coming there and they're like, and she's like mocking them. She's like repeating what she heard them communicating telepathically, because again, she swears she got the drop on them. She's like, don't do it anymore, call it off, it's already done. And then Lestat is like, oh, y'all think like Antoinette was alive, Claudia ruined our life, Louis, let's kill her. Antoinette would be much more amenable to our lifestyle, da 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 da. And they think it's the end for Claudia and Louis. And then right then Lestat drop out, because you thought you had to drop on Claudia. Claudia was like, you stupid bitch. Immediately she kill Antoinette. Like, I know we knew he was alive. I knew he turned you into a vampire. I knew he was following me. I was feeding you the wrong information, you stupid bitch. And Lestat is like, what? From the poison, the arsenic, like who was it? Who'd you put it in? And it was Anderson. And he was like, how'd you know? And she was like, because that's who called you him, you petty bitch. I know your ego couldn't stomach it, so I know you was gonna kill him. Look how you was carry on. Then they do. You think what you're seeing, because again, Louis, the one narrating the story, is that him and Claudia finish off Lestat. They finish off Lestat, and then Claudia literally goes and gets her pen, dips it in Lestat's blood as he dying, and writes his final words. Then they burn Antoinette, and this is what Louis saying to Malloy now. He's saying that they burn Antoinette in the incinerator, but that they couldn't bring themselves, neither one of them could bring themselves to burn Lestat in the incinerator. So instead, they dropped him off like at a dump yard. Malloy was like, I look like I named my ass. Do I look like I named ass? You want me to believe cold-blooded serial killer hates Lestat with all her heart? Claudia couldn't bring herself to incinerate him. The same Claudia that just dipped her pen in his blood to write his last words. You want me to believe that Claudia couldn't burn him and incinerate him? No way. That ain't really what happened. You stopped her. You stopped her from killing him, and then you dropped him off to a dump yard where you knew it would basically resurrect him. And that's let me tell you something. Then they show you exactly that. Louis fighting Claudia to make sure like he could save Lestat in some way. I say. And then from there, like Malloy is talking shit, right? And like rightfully so. He mad. He's like, this is some bullshit. This is an abusive, traumatic, stupid. Like, what are you on about, right? Because like Louis is still trying to like present Lestat like the victim, like, oh, we killed him, we murdered him, and Malloy's like, murdered him? This is self-defense. This is mercy. Y'all trying to save yourself. This enslaved y'all. He's an abuser. What are you on about? And Louis making all his excuses or whatever. And as Malloy and Louis are getting into it, because Malloy is telling his ass off like he should be, this Rashid back there like, oh, don't be talking to him like that, because I won't protect you like I did the last time, and blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden he starts floating like, oh, he got the cloud gift, and we found out like, oh, he's a vampire. His name is not Rashid, it's Armand. Oh, he's Louis' boyfriend. Louis can say he's the love of my life. And I just was like, give me a break. Like, honestly, give me a break. First of all, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't know why they think I gave a like, what's this whole unveiling of like, oh, so you just was choosing to pretend to be his groupie like all season and to unveil it, like, why? Like, anybody, like, we still don't care about you. We don't give a about you, Armand. Whether you name Armand, Rashid, we don't give a This is about Louis and Lestat. Like, you trying to seem important? Like, so you wanted to like, oh, you pretend to be his groupie, then unveil you're the love of his life. I don't care. The only thing I care about as far as you and Louis is concerned is wondering why Louis can't find him a black man. Like, Louis, like a black man, a black vampire, and one that is not much more powerful than you. You want another flying, codependent groupie. Man, Louis, I was like, man, Louis, don't piss me off, babe. Don't piss me off. Don't piss me off. Like, not you could save Lestat. Now I know you done upset Claudia, and now you done bring me an ex-stupid boyfriend. Lord. Oh, y'all. Let me go get myself ready for season 2. Y'all should subscribe to the Patreon. I put, for the people who want to hear me doing all my cursing, we put the uncensored versions of every recap on the Patreon. So do that.